cockpit of the 747 looking out a window that's about 1 by 2.
Well, let's just hope we take off and land together, Dave Marcoulier. We should be fine. Glad to have you aboard here on AM 1150 KWKY in Des Moines, on KWKY.com on the web, and around the world on DowlingWebcasting.com. Dowling Catholic will kick the football off. They will kick from the south end zone from the south to the north. The kicker is number 44, Avery Mason. Mason is a senior, 5'11", 210 pounds. Back deep is for Valley is Trey Lewis. He's at the goal line. Also back there is the sophomore Tyus Mason. And the Maroons, we're about ready to go, friend.
And Paul, that's a tremendous amount of speed. Very dangerous return men for the Valley Tigers.
All right, the Maroons come out. They are standing at the 30-yard line, straddling each side, and the Tigers are on the left side of your radio. We're going to go right to left here in a moment. We're about ready to kick it off as we approach 7:35 here in Des Moines, Iowa. We already have a penalty flag, and we haven't even started. So we'll get to that in just a moment, but I want to let you know that we do have some other games that we're going to be following tonight. The big one that's of interest is Waukee at Ankeny. Southeast Polk is at Des Moines Lincoln. Hoover is at Indianola. Des Moines North is at Ames. And Ottumwa's at Johnston, Roosevelt's at Marshalltown, Heelan's at Sioux City East, and also Sioux City North at Christian West. 1150 KWKY, Dowling Catholic High School Football on 1150 KWKY, streaming on KWKY.com and webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org is brought to you in part by Obstetrical and Gynecological Associates, 1361 Two Rivers Glass and Door. Sorry about that. Two Rivers Glass and Door, Northwest Bank, and Triplet Companies. The ball moved the Maroons back 5 yards to the 35, and they'll kick it off now. Mason gets his leg, high end-over-end kick. It's going to be taken up at the 12-yard line by the near back, Jake Nitz. Nitz takes it to the 25, gets his way to the 30, the middle of the field, where he's tackled down at about the 35-yard line by the Maroons. So we're underway. There's already a Maroon down, and the first tackle was made for Dowling Catholic. That tackle looked like it was Matt Murfeld. Let's get a look at the down Maroon back at the 20-yard line. And you hate to see something like that happen so early in the season. And the number, is that Michael Palmy, who's down, number 22, back at the 18-yard line. So
I believe that is Michael Palmy. And I tell you, Paul, that's not a good injury, because Michael Palmy will play both ways as a running back, and he will also play defense for Dowling Catholic tonight. So that could be a two-way player laying on the ground.
11:53 remains. We had one play. It went back to the 30. The ball will be first and 10 on the 36 when we get going. I got to go back to keeping notes here, Mr. Marcoulier. We had Ramel doing that for us last season at the state title game, and we got everybody here on the web and joining us. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break as we find out what's going on with Michael Palmy. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Poland hands the ball off to Trey Lewis on a misdirection play. Misdirection because Valley didn't know where they were going. It was a quickly tackle made by Dowling Catholic, a loss of 1 on the play, and already it looks like there's some misconfusion as here come the Valley Tigers, 2nd and 11. They lost a play, or a yard on that play. Poland under center, hands it off to Lewis. Lewis at the near side is met and stacked, spins his way back, gets back to the line of scrimmage and cuts his way up for a gain of about 3. That looked like a nothing play, but he turned it into something. Lewis is tackled. Looks like the tackle made by Dowling, and it'll be 3rd down already. 3rd and about 8.
Oh, nice job by the linebacker stepping up to fill the hole, and linebackers are probably the strength of the Dowling Catholic football defense this year.
3rd and 8 from the 38. Ball at the 38. We're underway here. No score between Dowling and Valley. Pullen goes from the shotgun. Takes a 2-step drop, throws it across, and it's his intended receiver was Brody Bauman. Bauman went in. The pass went out. It's incomplete to the turf, and Valley goes 3 and out.
Nice pressure by the front line of Dowling Catholic, led by Matthew Fermonic. Great first series stand by the Dowling Catholic defense, holding this veteran Valley offense.
4th and 8 from the 38. Valley is going to punt the football. Holden Kramer is back at his 25-yard line to kick it. Back deep for the Maroons. Standing is Matthew Hawk. The snap and the kick is up. It's a short, high kick at about midfield. Will break at about the 30. Almost hits a Dowling player. Bounces down at the 25 to the 24, 3 and 2 yard line. Down to the 20-yard line, and that'll be the first opportunity for the Dowling Catholic offense.
No, that really wasn't a very good punt, but Valley got a fortunate roll out of that. The ball's going to be on the 21-yard line.
And the Maroons are supposed to come out there. A little bit of pregame jitters, I think. The officiating crew's trying to get it. The ball boys are trying to get it out. We're trying to get it out. Everybody's trying to get some of those early bugs worked out. But here come the Dowling Catholic Maroon offense. They'll start from their own 21, 1st and 10 from the Dowling 21. Dan Hartlib is under center for the Maroons. First time he's played in quite some time. It's going to be a rollout pass. He throws. It's caught at the 20 by the Maroons up to the 25, 30, 35, all the way up to the 40-yard line. Great play. What you'd think it was going to go to Darboe, but it went the other way. It went to Alex Williamson. First down and more for the Maroons, all the way to the 39.
Well, that was actually Ben Goley who got it out of the backfield. Nice little bootleg action. Dan Hartley did a great job with the fake and a nice first down pickup for the first play by this Dowling Catholic offense.
Pickup of 18 puts the ball at the 39. 1st and 10, 9:51 to play here in this ball game. The Maroons are going to go to a shotgun formation. And already we've got a different quarterback. It's not even Hartlib. They're going to go with John Wisniewski. So he's been the quarterback on the sophomore squad, Dave, and already he lines up in that I don't know what formation you call it in the spread formation. He lines up to take the snap.
Yeah, and he is one heck of an athlete. We're going to see a lot of that junior this year. We're going to see him at tight end. We're going to see him at quarterback, and we're going to see him at an outside linebacker. Excellent athlete. Get used to hearing his name.
Pickup of 3 makes it 2nd and 7 from the 42. Toss sweep, fake reverse to Darboe. Coming to the near side. Goalie's got it at the 45 across midfield and into Valley territory, and that's enough for a first down. Good run that time by Ben Goalie, the senior running back, 5'10", 185 pounds.
And a fake to Darboe on that one. Darboe is the key, and everyone in the state of Iowa knows that Darboe is the key of this Dowling offense. So look for Dowling Catholic to do a lot to involve him in the offense this year, whether it's faking or whether it's throwing the ball or whether it's giving it to him in the backfield on that reverse to run. Believe me, that last play is setting up a future play where they will give it to Darboe to run.
He comes to the near side of the field, does Amara, but it's 1st and 10 from the 48. Maroons marching from right to left. Again, it's Wisniewski. He sheds one tackler and gets his way down to about the 45-yard line. This broadcast is brought to you by... Hold on here, we'll let you know. 8:33 remain in this contest in the first quarter, no score. Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150 KWKY. Streaming at kwky.com and webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org is brought to you in part by Principal Financial Group, Echo Valley Country Club, Bozen the Florist, and Mercy Medical Center. Thanks for having you on this broadcast. 2nd and 7 from the 45. Maroons have it. Hartlib is back in the shotgun, stands at the 50-yard line. Waiting for the snap, takes it, throws to the right side. Caught by Brandon Ogden at the 45. Ogden shakes right, goes left, and gets close to the 40, but that's going to be short of a first down.
Well, I tell you, that time they lined up and they wanted to kind of see how Valley was going to cover Darboe. When he's isolated by himself, they had one-on-one coverage, and I guarantee you the coaches noted that, and that's one of the things they wanted to see on that formation. I'll
tell you what, Dave, one of the things that's going to be difficult for the stat crew down below is figuring out who threw the football. And because if Wiz is going to be throwing it in addition to Hartlib, that's confusing. Even if it's for your own squad, I can't imagine what it does for the defense.
Yeah, they kind of call it the T-ball package.
All right, 3rd and 2 from the 40. Hartlib back to pass, throws it across the middle, and it's off the fingertips of his intended receiver. And that is Addison Bennett. Goes out of his hands. It's going to be 4th and about 2. Looks like they're bringing on the punt squad. And your punter is Matthew Hawk. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to pin Valley back.
I tell you, I was watching Darbo on that play, and he ran an out and up, and he had a step or two, and I think he's a little disappointed he didn't get the ball on that one. That could have possibly been a touchdown. But the young Bennett is doing a nice job in the practice first 2 weeks, and look for him to do a lot from that tight end position.
Hawk has the option to run it. He rolls to the near side. He's got to beat one man. He does, and gets the first down and more. Matthew Hawk keeps it on the fake. Gets it all the way down first down territory. It's that exact same play they did last season, Dave, with Brevard. He had that option, and that's exactly, it looked like he's got the green light.
Yeah, it's not a call from the huddle. It's a read all the way. He knows what he's looking for, and if he sees it, he's going to take the ball and go. If not, he'll do a little pooch punt, or he'll punt the ball regular. That's a huge pickup for Dowling Catholic, and it's really a deflator for the Valley defense.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 35. It was a pickup of 7 on the play. 7:37 remain. No score between Dowling and Valley. Paul Yeager alongside Dave Marcoulier. Brian Morris with us here at Drake Stadium. Glad you're aboard. Hartlib looks left, fakes right. He's going to the far side of the field. The receiver is there. The ball is tipped in and out of the hands of Hawk. Kind of hung up there a little bit. Falls to the turf. It'll be incomplete.
That pass that time was intended for Matthew Hawk. They lined up Darbo on the left side. Got double coverage with the safety covering over on the top. Hartlib read that and went to Hawk on the opposite side of the field. Couldn't quite come down with the pass.
9th play of the drive will start at the 35-yard line. 2nd and 10. The Maroons will break the huddle, trying to score in that north end zone. Nice Valley crowd on the far side of the field, dressed in mostly black. On the near side, all Maroon fans standing and cheering. Glad to have you aboard here if you're listening in the stands. Hard snap count by Hartlib. I don't even think he had the connection with the center. And it's going to be a penalty, and most likely this will go against the Maroons.
Yeah, that's on Dowling.
Oh, they're going to say it is on Valley. All right.
I didn't see him move. Tell you, on that particular formation, Darbo's up on the top one-on-one, and I think our listeners are going to hear me talking a lot about Darbo because he's so exciting. I personally don't want to take my eye off him at all. And watching, they're coming back with that same formation here with Darbo split to the right.
I believe that's Chuck Britton is the head referee up from the Waverly area, is trying to confirm. That's usually the crew we get for this game. I think that's who we had 2 years ago. Remember that game 2 years ago? A night similar like this, a little hotter. 11,000 fans here, and I don't think we're quite at that tonight. There's still some room on the far turns, but still a fantastic crowd here at Drake Stadium.
Yeah, I tell you, I really like, Paul, what the Dowling coaching staff is doing offensively here. Throwing a lot of different packages, a lot of different things at Valley Tigers. And again, we're coming out. It looks like Darbo's got one-on-one coverage up at the top.
They haven't even looked his way. There's only been a fake on the reverse. They'll see if they get it to him there. It's going to be
that's going to be on Valley again.
Another whistle before the play, and the hanky goes down. So you haven't even snapped the ball, and you're going to have a first down because it'll be another 5 yards assessed. Pretty easy situation.
And, Paul, when that happens like that, especially twice in a row, you can credit that to Dan Hartley with his cadence. He is obviously drawing them off sides by whatever he's saying on his cadence. So credit to Dan Hartley and credit to the Dowling offensive line for freezing and not moving on that.
That's something that's disciplined, because if it doesn't go your way, doesn't that usually mean a couple of extra sprints in practice?
Absolutely, and believe me, that's a learned skill. They practice that. That just doesn't happen. And that is a sign of a disciplined football team, and that's a great sign for the Dowling Catholic fans right there.
Boy, we're showing a lot of early season jitters on every side here. A lot of standing around in this early going. We've only played a couple of minutes. It's 7.5. They're trying to work on the clock. No score between Valley and Dowling. Glad to have you aboard here on this broadcast around the world on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Glad to have you aboard. Send us a tweet at KWKY Sports. Tell us where you're listening from. Glad to hear you. Ramel will run those in. We'll also have some scoring updates in a little bit. Back to live action. Handoff goes to goalie up to the 35. Cuts his way. Bowls his head down. 25, down to about the 22-yard line on that play. We haven't seen that straight run yet from goalie, and we haven't even seen Naven get the football yet either, Dave, straight up the middle.
No, we haven't. That was a nice surge by that offensive line, and, we've been so busy tonight, Paul, we really haven't had time to set the offensive line. That time they went behind the senior captain, T.J. Palmy, 6'4", 255, and the young sophomore, Jake Curvin, number 59, 6'3", 245 pounds.
Valley hasn't really made any tackles because they haven't stopped committing penalties. We'll see if they can get this out. Hartlib's in the shotgun formation, looks left, throws left, caught by his receiver, Hawk, on the near side of the field, very close to the first down. He gets down to about the 16-yard line where he is escorted out of bounds by, looks like that was Valley's Jake Nitz. A very good defensive back for Coach Gary Swenson. Can you believe it? It's Gary's 37th season as a head coach.
That's unbelievable.
You look at the CIML, you've got Jerry Pizzetti, who's in his 50th season. Gary in his 37th. I mean, there are very few coaches across the state that are still coaching after that many years.
That's a long time. Darbo, one-on-one coverage up at the top. I'm going to watch it this time.
Ball on the 18, 3rd and 2. Gives it up the middle, and then it's going to go nowhere. Well sniffed out by the Valley Tigers. Brandon Ellingson, the two-way player, stuffs that run. Looked like goalie didn't really have anywhere to go.
And that Ellington is one of the keys to this Valley football team. He's an outstanding captain, outstanding leader. And Dowling Catholic brings on...
Looks like they're going to go to the big house. I can't imagine they're going to try to kick it. It would be Avery Mason. There's 6:15 to go. They do have a play clock. It is down to 10. It doesn't look like they're going to. They're going to try to run a play here. They break the huddle. They have 5 on the play clock. 4th and 2. Ball at the 18. They need to get to the 15. Hartlib rolls out to the far side. Looks deep. He's going to have to kind of throw it away. Just throws a prayer down the side. He's roughed up as he throws. The ball falls incomplete. And Dowling will turn it over after a very good drive. And it'll be Valley's football from the 18-yard line. So I guess, if anything, Dave, you pin him inside the 20.
Yeah, I tell you, I think what went wrong there for Dowling Catholic is they were rushed. A little probably uncertainty on whether they should kick a field goal or go for it. Took a little clock off the time. By the time Danny got out of the huddle, there were 5 seconds left. He couldn't get his pre-snap reads,
right,
and just had to go with what he had upstairs.
We'll check in with Brian Morris after this play to find out what he learned from that offensive series. 1st and 10 from the Valley 18. They've got the ball with a long way to go. Handoff goes to Valley, and it's a very good run all the way up to the 25-yard line. Great run by Trey Lewis that time. And the Maroons have a player down, and that's Jacob Stacy. Came up from his position, and he's down on the turf. We're going to take a quick timeout here. I believe, well, actually, Stacy's sitting up, so it doesn't look like he's going to go. Let's go down to Brian Morris down on our sideline. Brian?
You know, guys, I saw Jacob. He went in there to make the tackle, and he kind of pulled up lame. He has that hurt knee, and he kind of pulled up lame a little bit on that. Also, Michael Palmy, he's down on the sideline here with ice pack around his knee, helmet on the bench with some crutches, so it looks like he may be done for this evening as well.
We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. 2 8-yard plays gets the Valley Tigers all the way up to the 34-yard line. Back here on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Trey Lewis doesn't get the handoff. This time it goes to Tanner Hinkle, and Hinkle on the end around comes from the 40 to the 45 up to midfield, all the way close to a first down. And Dave, it's now this is a different Valley team than that first series. They're running the football with authority.
Yeah, and you know, Paul, I've been watching the guards polling. They tried to run a trap on the previous play, but the ball carrier popped it out. I tell you what they're doing now is their backs are so quick. If they don't see the hole, they pop it outside, and that's what they want to do with all the speed they have.
Pass goes to Hinkle again. This time it's on the near side. Hinkle, though, is met behind the line of scrimmage or right at the line of scrimmage. Tackle made for Dowling. Alex Kramer makes the stop, and a host of Maroon players. Also in there is Avery Mason. So that was a play kind of out of the Dowling playbook.
Yeah, Nick Navin also in on that play. But, Paul, back to what I was saying earlier, Valley's got two quick backs, Trey Lewis and Tyus Mason, that they rotate in and out, sometimes both together. And Tanner Hinkle outside, three extremely quick, dangerous backs.
We'll take a look at scores around the CIML in a minute. Pullen takes the snap, fakes it to Lewis, rolls out to the far side, throws it off his back foot. It's caught and complete at the 40. First down and more on 2nd and 10. They get 12 and a late penalty flag. We'll check that out. The Maroons shove them out of bounds. Matthew Hawk is there. Ankeny is in front of Waukee, 14-0. Southeast Polk leads Des Moines Lincoln 14-0. Indianola leads Hoover 7-0. Ames leads North 7-0. Johnson 7-0. And Bishop Heelan leads Sioux City East. That's at East tonight. 6-3 is your score. No MAC or Missouri Valley Conference games tonight. Really, it's Central and Western Iowa getting in on the action, Dave. That penalty is on Valley, and it'll move them back.
Illegal block in the back that time. But we're starting to see the Valley offense for the first time really tonight. And this is, they're real high on this offensive squad. They got some experience coming back, very big linemen, quick in the backfield, and that experienced quarterback, which helps an awful lot. Jeff Pullen, he's senior, 5'10", 182 pounds.
You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY, Des Moines. Your score here, no score between Dowling and Valley. Glad to have you aboard. The handoff is to Trey Lewis. Pullen gets it to him. Lewis gets one hand on him. Lewis makes a good second and third effort back to the middle of the field. There was some good rush from behind the line. Looked like strike that. Avery Mason came up to get a hand. And finishing off that play was Sam Harold. And the ball gets about 3 yards to midfield. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Valley's got a couple offensive plays they like to run, and the play they ran there, it's about the 3rd or 4th time they've run that, is a power play. They pull the backside guard. He is really not getting his blocks at all, and the running back's trying to pop outside of him, and that time he came back inside.
He's going to back to pass. Pullen throws, looks downfield, then throws to Lewis on the far side of the field. Caught at the 45. Gets up to the line of scrimmage, but escorted out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. Mason is there. Also making the play, I believe that's Heckman. Yeah, Alex Heckman. Saw Alex as a running back in mop-up duty last season. He's going to see significant time at cornerback, according to Coach Wilson.
Yeah, very nice play by Avery Mason on that play. This Dowling defense, a lot of young kids. They're small, but I tell you what, very athletic, very quick, and they are not afraid to hit you, Paul. Nice defensive stand that time for Dowling Catholic.
It'll be 4th and 4. The Maroons are in back deep with that's Hawk at the 10. Valley looks to punt the football, and they will. It's a short, nice spiral kick. Hawk will take it at the 10. He's now back up to the 15, going to the far side. Tries to get outside, can't do it. That play just did not seal. And it didn't look like Hawk had that speed to get to the outside. Valley's... making that tackle was Nick Gallus. Good stop there for Valley. And so the Maroons will start the football behind the 20. They'll start it at the 16-yard line.
Hartley and the offense lining up with Coach Wilson on the sideline and Coach McLean, who has the receivers and quarterback. And I'm going to keep talking about him. Amara Darbo, one of the top recruits in the nation, really hasn't touched the ball yet. And one of these times, Paul, they're going to go to him, and watch out. He is dangerous. He's down here at the bottom. One-on-one coverage, the free safety sneaking over. Not quite sure, but it looks like one-on-one.
Darbo's on the near side of the field, trips to the far side. I formation, they're going to Darbo, deep. He's open if he can get to the ball. Out of the reach of his hands, incomplete. They were looking Darbo that entire time, Dave.
Yeah, he ran a quick out and up. About a step off. I think he was started off a little bit slow. But Dan Hartley, quarterbacks are taught if you're going to throw a ball incomplete, you throw it long. That was a beautifully thrown ball by young Dan Hartley.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. Dan Hartley, the son of Chuck, who played quarterback at the University of Iowa in the late 80s. The quarterback of that famous Marv Cook touchdown that everybody remembers, the Hug and Kiss You radios. Two receivers left, 2 receivers right. Darbo gets it in the flat. 2 defenders are there right away for Valley. They've got him covered quickly. Nolan Lawden and Spencer Hellman make the tackle for Valley after a pickup of maybe 1.
And when you're one of the top recruits in the country, I think the other teams know that too, Paul, and they're really key on him. They'll design their defense to stop Armara Darbo, but that will not prevent Dowling Catholic from going to him because he's an outstanding athlete and he's very dangerous every time he touches the ball.
Zach Henneman, Nick Buchanan, Sam Reardon, and Ryan Nah for the front guys for Valley, who come out basically in a 4-3 defense. They're man-to-man coverage. Darbo's open across the middle, but they're going to go deep off the extended hands of the intended receiver, Addison Bennett. Too tall of a pass, incomplete. It'll be 4th down, and the Maroons are going to have to punt the football.
I tell you, that was a nice read by Dan Hartley. Bennett was the receiver. He lined up in the tight end position, split out a little bit, and ran a seam route. Dan went through his reads and had the right man, just threw it up a little bit too high.
I believe my notes say 4th down. The stick on the far side only says 3rd down, but Matthew Hawk is out there. He'll go back to his... He'll be at about the 2-yard line to kick this football away.
And, Paul, I don't think he's going to fake it this time.
If he does fake it, that'll be the last time he punts for a couple of weeks.
He won't even read this one. Just kick the ball, young man.
Back deep for the Tigers is Tanner Hinkle. He's at his 50-yard line where Hawk stands at the 3. Gets the snap, gets the left-footed kick away. Boomer. It's going to go almost over the head, and it's taken by Hinkle. There's a nice block by Valley. Hinkle sprints out to the 50, back into Dowling territory to the 45, 42-yard line before he's wrestled down by the Maroons. Good swarm defense by the men in maroon. And it'll be the Valley Tigers. They'll have it 1st and 10. Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150. KWKY is streaming on KWKY.com and webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org. Is brought to you in part by Principal Financial Group, NutriCal, Two Rivers Glass and Door, Echo Valley Country Club, and Triplet Companies. Our score is 0-0 with 1:29 to play in the first quarter. Kind of an inefficient first quarter for both teams. Lewis gets the football up the middle, and he almost breaks it. Good 9-10-yard run by Trey Lewis.
And that was zone blocking. That's Valley's zone play. And Trey Lewis, if you watched him, Paul, took a little skip step, a little stutter step. What he's doing is waiting just a little bit to let that line blocking develop so he can get his read. Worked beautifully, and nice first down pickup for Trey Lewis.
Almost 11 yards as we approach the 1-minute mark. We'll check in with Brian Morris. Hopefully after this play, Brian, we'll come down to you to find out what happened on that offensive series as the ball is right in front of our vantage point at the 33-yard line. Pullen has it. He's going to roll to the near side of the football field. He's going to throw it off his back foot, and it's caught and complete just short of the first down. It was caught by Brody Bauman. The tackle was made by Tim Mackey. Let's go down to that play. It was right in front of Brian Morris. Brian?
Yeah, Valley, Jeff Pullen did a nice job rolling out there. Number 47 for Dowling, Leaf Monson, ran through his blocker, just about got to Pullen, but Pullen got away. Nice catch by the receiver. Nice little drive here by the Valley Tigers.
Good pickup. Gets it to 2nd and 1. The ball will be at the 24-yard line. 51 seconds, no score between Dowling and Valley. This is the Valley Tigers' best chance to score. The Maroons got to the 19, and they stuttered out. Trey Lewis gets the handoff. He cuts to the left side. He's got the first down and more, and he's going to be tackled at about the 18-yard line. They'll still have another play when they stop the clock. Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150 KWKY is streaming on KWKY.com and webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org is brought to you in part by Obstetrical and Gynecological Associates, Capital Sanitary, West Bank, the Dana Company, and St. Gregory Retreat Center. No score between Dowling and Valley. 35 seconds to play. The Tigers have the football. 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line of Dowling. Valley is marching and is threatening. Pullen takes the snap. It's a handoff to Lewis. Lewis busts his way through. He is a tough runner, Dave. He gets down to about the 10, pickup of 8.
That's that power game to the right side. Austin Stevens lines up at left guard. Stevens, 6'3", 270 pounds, got a nice block on the tackle. Lewis went right behind him and was able to pick up about 6 yards.
That will be the final play of the first quarter. It'll be 2nd and 3 when we come back. No score after 1 quarter of play between Dowling Catholic and Valley of West Des Moines. The battle for West Des Moines continues. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY.
Do you need that window open?
Gorgeous night for high school football. Beautiful night for high school football, wherever you may be around the world. We are so glad to have you a part of this broadcast. Paul Yeager alongside Dave Marcoulier. Brian Morris is on the sidelines for us. Ramel Slaughter handling the Twitter. They're watching us on the web. Glad to have you here. Kind of a fun little thing. I look over and look at the monitor every once in a while, and I don't see Dave's picture on TV, but maybe later. Right here, our score 0-0. After 1 quarter, the Valley Tigers have it. Lewis gets the handoff up the middle. Lewis cuts his way to the 5-4, and he is going to be stopped at about the 2-yard line. And that is going to be enough for a first down. They only needed 3, and they got about 6.
Alex Hickman with the initial hit on that play. And that was that inside power game again. The backside guard pulls. And Lewis gets right in behind that big 270-pound lineman, and he just goes forward. It's tough to get at him because he's hidden back behind those big linemen.
1st and goal from the 2. Pullen under center, hands it off to Lewis. Lewis off right tackle is into the end zone, strikes first. Valley Tigers score early, 6-0. Valley takes the lead.
Same play, Paul. Backside guard pulls. Lewis finds the hole. That time the backside guard pulled, went upfield, tried to pick off the linebacker, and Lewis gets in behind him and took it in the end zone for the first score of the evening.
So the Tigers will line up for the extra point. On to kick it is Nick Gallus. Gallus is the soccer-style kick it, puts it through the uprights, and it's 7-0 Valley. You're listening to high school football on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY.
I hope the cameras get a view of the crowd.
It's an awesome crowd.
Nice crowd for Drake.
All right, so it's 7-0. Back at Drake Stadium, Paul Yeager alongside Dave Marcoulier and Brian Morris. 7-0 Valley Tigers strike first. 11:23 on the play, or 11:23 on the halftime. I call it the game clock, really. The Maroons will be back deep. Amara Darbo stands at the goal line. And it's going to be close to Darbo, but it's going to be taken by Ogden at the 10, to the 15, to the 20, 25. Ogden shuffles his way left, gets his way to the right hash, up to about the 30-yard line. Return of about 20 yards. Let's go down to the field to Brian Morris, who is with us on the Dowling sideline. Brian?
You know, guys, I was looking at the lineup in there last time. Nick Navin, he was on the sideline. Looks like he's having some stomach issues. Reed Flood,
all right,
backers. You have Jacob Stacy out, and you have Michael Palmy, the rover. So that linebacker position right now, they've had to go far down to the depth chart to have some players in there.
We'll see what happens. That's Brian Morris there on the... Brian Morris is with us there on the sideline. Thank you very much, Brian, as we get your microphone shut off there as we continue to hear him. Ball carrier for the Maroons. Good stop there by Valley. The tackle was made by Taryn Phillips. The Maroons get about 5 on that play. That was goalie, right?
Ben Goalie up the middle. Yeah, you know, and to carry on what Brian was just saying, Michael Palmy would be alternating running plays back there with goalie, and he would also be starting at linebacker or the rover back for Dowling Catholic. So that was a huge loss. Jacob Stacy, captain, starter on the defense.
Goalie gets the handoff and goes up the middle and gets enough for a first down. He's across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Good line surge before the tackle is made by Valley's Eric Cushing. And the one way that Coach Wilson described him to me, Dave, the way he describes goalie's running style, he just calls him like an angry back. And to me, that's, I think, if you may not be the fastest or the biggest, that's really the way you've got to run.
Yeah, and very good blocking. Let's get these linemen in here. Evan Barkley, number 57 at right guard, and Jimmy Barsetti. Nice holes that time, along with Mark Kinko at center, helping them out.
Hartlib goes under center. In motion goes Darbo. They're going to move him any way they can. The give is to Darbo, trying to get him to the outside. Darbo gets across to about the 45, makes one man miss and makes two man miss before he's tackled at midfield. That play was pretty much dead to rights back at the line of scrimmage, but somehow Darbo falls forward for 6 yards.
Yeah, and I'm sure the coaches want to continue to try and get the ball in the hands of Darbo. But, you know, you don't want to focus on him so much so he becomes your entire game plan and your entire focus because you got a lot of other young men who can contribute. It's just an art where you have to develop a feel for the game and when you can go to him and when you shouldn't.
Darbo comes near side. Receiver goes to the far side. They're looking Darbo's way. They're throwing it to him. He backpedals, catches it at the 25, falling backwards. Amara Darbo catches it. Incredible pickup of 25 yards for the Maroons. They'll have it 1st and 10 in Valley territory.
Well, Amara got his feet tangled up a little bit and started running backwards there. Dan Hartley threw a great pass, great read in going through his sequence. And Darbo, beautiful catch. If you get the ball close to Amara, he's going to catch the ball.
Ball is in Valley territory. It's in front of the D. He caught it at the D of Bulldogs on the field. And Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150 KWKY. We'll tell you in a little bit. We're going to take a quick timeout here as the Maroons call timeout. You're listening to high school football right here on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY.
I think I see why they called timeout.
Were they short? I lost my... Handoff by Dan Hartlib goes to Ben Goley, and it's a loss of 1 yard. We're back at live action. 7-0. Valley leads. 9 minutes to play. Second quarter. Valley Tigers struck first at the second play of the second quarter, and they lead 7-0. Dave Marcoulier alongside Paul Yeager. Brian Morris on the field. Ramel Slaughter's here with us. Send a note out to him on KWKY Sports on Twitter. Other scores. They've played 1 quarter in Waukee. It's the Hawks 14, Waukee 0. Southeast Polk rolling on Lincoln 21-0. Johnson and Ottumwa tied at 7. We'll check the scores after this. 3 receivers to the far side of the field. Hartlib gives it to Goley up the middle. Goley puts his shoulder down. Nice initial contact made by Brandon Ellingson. Goley still falls forward for another 2. Gets up to about the 20, gain of 5. It'll be 3rd and 5.
I tell you, making the last 2 tackles, Taryn Phillips, senior linebacker, 5'11", 203. Previous play, he came through, missed assignment by the offensive lineman, tackled Goley in the backfield. That time did a nice job coming up and making the stop. A nice hard run by Ben Goley.
Ball is at the 20-yard line of the Valley Tigers. The Maroons have it. They're in a tight formation except for 3 receivers to the far side of the field. In motion goes Goley. He's making room for Hartlib, and around the near side, 10, 5, he's into the end zone. Dowling Catholic strikes Dan Hartlib, who says he can't run. Dave Marcoulier, 20-yard touchdown for the senior quarterback.
Yeah, and that looked to me, Paul, to be a run all the way. He did a little back step, acted like he was going to throw the ball, and took off downfield. Beautifully blocked play by the right side of the offensive line, Barsetti, Barkley, Kinko, and a great run by Dan Hartley.
Goley was the lead on that. Goley went in motion, almost looked like the arena football, Dave, where they can go before the play.
Right,
he was
right.
almost going forward, got that momentum. He sealed that play. Very important. Avery Mason on for the extra point. Hartlib will hold. The kick is up, and it is good. We're tied at 7. We've played 7 minutes and 53 seconds to play. When we come back, you'll have the last 7:53 of the first half. You're listening to high school football on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY.
The camera's never on us, is it? I don't even know where they have them now.
Don't worry about it.
Are they on tripods now or shoulder held? So I can pick my nose whenever I want?
Yeah.
We're back in 30 seconds.
Watch your head when you stand up.
You kidding me? I can't hit anything with my head.
I learned the hard way.
Back at Drake Stadium, Paul Yeager alongside Dave Marcoulier on the official station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Glad to have you aboard on the radio, on the web, and wherever you may be around the world tonight. Dan Hartlib, his first touchdown on varsity is a 20-yard touchdown run. It ties the ball game at 7. Low lining kick as Trey Lewis picks it up at the 10, 5, or 15, 20, 25, all the way up to the 29-yard line. I'll tell you what, Dave, Trey Lewis is fast. Let's check in now with Brian Morris down on our sidelines and find out what happened after that play. Brian Morris, come in, please.
You know, guys, on that last offensive play, I think it was a great call by Coach Wilson. Valley was really crashing their ends in, and you called it right, Dave. That was a run play all along. Ben Goley, all he had to do was kick out the outside backer, and it was clean sailing for Dan Hartley. Good play by the coaches.
I tell you, the inside linebacker was coming on a stunt that time, so it was a great call, and it just fit perfectly into what Dowling was trying to do.
We'll check other CIML scores after this play. The Pullen harks out the snaps, gives it to Lewis. Again, Lewis Wright gets about 5 yards, almost 6, up to the 35-yard line. Ankeny has now had Waukee score on them. It's Ankeny 14, Waukee 8, Southeast Polk 28, Lincoln nothing. Indianola rolling over Hoover 28-0. Ames 10, North 0. Ottumwa and Johnson tied at 7. Bishop Heelan leads Sioux City East 14-5. So there was a grand slam and a solo home run by Sioux City East in that ballgame. Back to live action, 2nd and 4 from the 35. 7:10 remains in the second quarter. Pullen looks right to throw, and then he is going to be sacked behind the line of scrimmage. Great play made that time by Matthew Farmonic.
Matthew Farmonic coming from the outside. Pullen made a little fake and then went into drop back action to throw the ball. Farmonic, nice job coming in. Matthews definitely has to be a leader on that defense. He's a returning starter, and he should have a great season.
Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150 KWKY, streaming on KWKY.com and webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org is brought to you in part by Holmes Murphy, Tarpey Media Company, Win Communications, A.J. Allen Construction, and Make That Tarpey Media Group. They're a good group to be with. Pullen back to pass, fakes the handoff to Lewis, looks to roll, throws down the middle of the field. It's caught and dinged in a hurry. Good tackle, or a good reception by Sam Harold. He got dinged in a hurry. Who made that tackle? Put the pop on him. Wasn't that John Donovan, 28?
I think that was Alex Heckman again.
Heckman.
Putting a nice shot on coming up.
Yeah, and sent the Valley player down to the field. It was complete. He held on to it. And we have a player down for Dowling Catholic. And that is one thing. Or is that a Valley Tiger? I can't see there, Dave.
That's
that is
a Valley Tiger.
Yeah, that is a Valley guy. We're here at about the 32-yard line as the training staffs come out to take a look at what's going on. Beautiful night for football, would you say? A tiny little crowd?
A great crowd here at Drake Stadium. It's always fun to come down here to Drake. I went to Drake University. I went to a lot of their football games, and it's just fun to come back to this stadium for me personally, and to see all these fans here is wonderful.
We're going to take a break. We'll talk about it in a little bit. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Can this be a 30? I'm sorry, Tim.
Turner McGill.
He's still got to walk a long way, so we got a little time. Still only 30 if we could. Trey Lewis gets the handoff for the Valley Tigers. They go with him on the left side, and he is out of bounds at about the 48-yard line before he is tackled by Alex Heckman. Also there to make the play, Nick Naven. Haven't called Naven's name much, but I'm sure we will before the night is over. 7-7 our score. 6:04 remains here in the second quarter. Coming up at halftime, Dave, we'll have some more. We'll learn a little bit more about Dowling Catholic.
Yes, we will. We got a couple of volleyball kids that are awfully excited to come up and talk about an exciting season ahead in volleyball for the Dowling Catholic girls.
We are at 2nd and 4. Ball on the 48. Pullen hands off to Lewis on the right side. Lewis makes a quick step to the left, then goes to the right. The initial surge on that play was Matt Dunbar. Dunbar missed, but he was helped out there by Zach Powers. And it's still about 3 yards to go. The scoreboard says 4, so they'll give him a pickup of 1 on that play.
Big third down play for the Valley Tigers with 5:30 left in this quarter, Paul.
Ball sits at the Valley 49-yard line, 7-7, Dowling and Valley. Good football game. Thanks for being with us tonight. Great crowd on hand. Pullen under center. Fakes the handoff to Lewis. He's going to roll out. He's got Ellingson there. He's going to throw instead over the head of his intended receiver, Connor Pryan. And the tight end just could not bring that one in. Good defensive coverage that time by the Maroons downfield. Matthew Hawk was in the neighborhood, and I think you could hear the footsteps coming.
Yeah, and a little bootleg type action. I think his primary receiver was Quentin Smith. He was working from the outside in with his reads. Quentin was covered, so he went to his second option, overthrew him a bit. Nice job by the Dowling defense, forces Valley into a punting situation.
Tigers will line up with the ball at the 49, 4th and 3. The punter is back at about the 35-yard line for Valley. Back deep is Hawk. He stands at his 10-yard line. Over the head of the punter. That ball is back at
Here's
the 20.
a break.
Here comes a break for the Maroons. Will he be able to get it off? He does. Nice kick. Holden Kramer, all things considered, bounces at the 40 to the 45, all the way down to the 30, and that could have been disastrous for Valley. Turns into just about what you would have expected.
Yeah.
Down to the 30.
I tell you, it's too bad the Dowling player pulled up, because once that ball's over his head, it's a live ball and it's considered a run. So he has every right to put a shot on him. He pulled up a little bit, and Valley was able to get the punt off, and Valley really lucked out on one there.
So the Maroons will have the football. Dan Hartlib will come out with this offense. 4:55 remaining in the second quarter. 7-7 your score. 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line of Dowling Catholic. They start this drive in their own territory. A little misdirection. 3 receivers come to the near side of the field. Empty to the right. Goalie's going to go to the far side of the field, which was empty. And he is met by Taryn Phillips at about the 35-yard line. Got outside of the hash mark and got maybe 2 tough yards.
And Taryn Phillips again on the block. I tell you what, that young man has been in on the tackle. Taryn has been in on a number of tackles tonight. Dowling Catholic's having a tough time blocking that young linebacker.
4:26 remains. Coming up at halftime, we'll talk volleyball. They're in practice, haven't had a game yet. This is really the first athletic contest of the 2011-2012 school year across the state tonight. Darbo in and out of his hands. The intended receiver, they looked almost for that quick pass. They had 3, I'll call them blockers for lack of a better term. It was trips to the near side, and is in and out of the hands of Amara, and I think he was just trying to go upfield before he had the football.
Yeah, he sensed the stunt that was on by the linebackers coming, and tried to catch it, run the ball before he caught it.
4:09 remains. Other scores, we did run some of those down, but Ankeny and Waukee, that's another good ball game. Ankeny 14, Waukee 8. We're tied here at 7 with about 4 minutes to play before halftime. Here comes the Valley defense. They're showing stunt. Hartlib in the shotgun, throws it. In and out of the hands. That was into some heavy traffic. Incomplete goes the football, but the intended receiver was Addison Bennett. And there was a lot of arms on that play. I don't know if that was maybe the best read by Hartlib tonight. That's probably the worst decision he's made so far, and that's pretty good considering how late we are in the game.
Yeah, that's the 3rd time he's tried to throw the ball to tight end Addison Bennett. Addison Bennett, nice tall target. Been a nice surprise for Dowling Catholic going into his, I believe he's a senior now, going into his senior year.
Hard to believe the senior year is here. School starts what day?
Orientation Monday and Tuesday, classes Wednesday.
Nice punt by Hawk. Sends Hinkle back to the 15-yard line where he takes it to the 20, gets up to the middle, and that play was initially blown up. That was a nice play by Sam Harold. He pushed the defender of Valley backwards and kind of helped make that tackle. Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150 KWKY is streaming on KWKY.com and webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org is brought to you in part by Quality Pest Control. Obstetrical and Gynecological Associates, Echo Valley Country Club, Two Rivers Glass and Door, and Splash Seafood Bar and Grill. Valley has the football at the 28, 1st and 10, with 3:49 to play before halftime. I would imagine they'd like to score. They're not going to sit on this ball with that much time on the clock. Ton of time. Ball at the 28. Pullen goes under center, hands it off to Lewis. I could have called that one. To the right, gets about 3 plays, and when you get 3 to 4 yards every time, Dave, and you bang up the opposition, I'd stay with that play.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the speed they have, they can break one at any time. Nice job by the Dowling defense, though. Clock running, 3:26.
Lewis picks up 4, 2nd and 6 from the 32. Tied at 7, Valley and Dowling. Valley in their all-white uniforms. The Maroons in their maroon tops, white pants. Pretty much the same outfits they've had the last couple of seasons. Pullen back to pass. Throws from his back foot, sets it nicely. It's caught and moved by Quentin Smith. Smith is escorted out of bounds, but not until he gets a first down. So they'll move the chains. This Valley offense, struggled in that first drive, Dave, but really picked it up well here in their second and third series.
Yeah, that play just ran about a 10-yard out. Tim Mackey was on the coverage, did exactly what he's taught in a situation like this. Give him something short, but don't let him get behind you. So nice play overall by Dowling.
Pickup of 16. The snap gets away from Pullen. It's on the ground, and it looks like Dowling Catholic may have the football. That would be the first turnover of the football game, and the Maroons do have it.
T.J. Palmy, I believe. Oh, no, Alex Kramer.
Alex Kramer. Brian Morris saw it. It was right in front of him. Mr. Morris, what happened?
Yeah, the quarterback, the snap hit off of Poland's helmet. It kind of bounced around. A couple players touched it. Alex Kramer jumped on it, and the Dowling coaching staff leapt up the air. They got 250 to put the ball in the end zone.
Turnovers were key 2 years ago and last year, and we'll see what happens now. 2:51 on the clock. Remaining before halftime, the Maroons will come out. They'll have the ball at the 37-yard line.
Darboe down on the bottom, one-on-one coverage.
We needed a quick strike. You call Amara. Amara's on the near side of the field. I formation, tough snap count, and that's going to pull off the right side of that Valley line.
Nice job by Dan Hartley again. Great discipline by Dowling offense. That's an easy 5 yards.
7-7 our score.
Oh, he called that on Dowling.
Oh, they're going to say that's on Dowling.
I certainly did not see that, Paul. I did not see that at all.
So that'll move it back about 5 yards to a 1st and 15 as the Dowling band makes their way onto the field. They'll have a little halftime performance. We'll get a little nats of that. As it looks like the same play. They're in the I formation. Ball moved back to the 42. It's a fake to goalie. They're going deep for Amara across the middle. The pass is caught at the 10. 5.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Dowling Catholic.
No flags. You could see it coming, Paul. He's got one-on-one coverage. Why Valley's doing that is beyond me, but I would like to thank him for doing it because you cannot cover that young man one-on-one. Beautifully thrown ball by Dan Hartlig. Beautiful pattern by Amara Darboe. Dead sprint. Danny hit him right on line.
And just like that, we may have found this is going to be more of a passing team this season if the running game, which is hurt by Michael Palmy not being able to alternate with Ben Goley. We'll see how this offense goes. The extra point by Avery Mason. The kick is up, and it is good. The Maroons take a 14-7 lead. We'll take a break. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY.
Nice play.
It was necessary. Shut up. That's a good point. We have 2:40 left. Are we winning? Yeah. Yes, 14-7. I think we're on towards the middle of halftime. Well, halftime is 12. Yeah. After that, we're free. I'm not. I have to clean up. Are you going to need me for anything after that? I don't think so. Because you're not getting paid, so why would you do it? I'm not giving you any time. You go away. Okay. Because if you help, I have to split my money. Because there's only so much in the bucket. So. I might have to leave after halftime. Puss. What? Puss. Yeah, Puss. Thanks. Well, Royals. Kansas City Royals.
We're on.
14-7 is your score. Dowling Catholic leads for the first time tonight. Avery Mason gets a kick, a liner, taken by Lewis in full stride at the 10 to the 15, 20, 25. Cuts his way up to the 30. There's a flag on the play. Comes from the backside umpire, or the head referee, that is, who made that play behind it. Likely, that's going to be a hold on Valley, so this play will come back from the 30. 14-7's our score. Let's go down to the field now and check in with Brian Morris. Beautiful play down there, Brian.
It really was. Amara came out, and I was standing right here on this side of the field. He was, like you said, Dave, he's been in that one-on-one coverage with number 3 from Valley all night now, Nolan Lawton. I just don't think Nolan Lawton can cover Amara Darbo one-on-one, and Dowling exploited that.
Brian Morris is on our sideline. He'll talk with head coach Tom Wilson at halftime, as we'll find out what Coach Wilson has to say about this football game. And the Maroons, I didn't think they would be in this position leading, but there's still a lot of time, 2:31 to go and before half.
Yeah, with 3:30 on the clock, this was a whole different situation here, but how quickly things can change in this sport.
So the penalty moves the Tigers all the way back to the 15. It'll be 1st and 10. Poland goes to Lewis on the right side. Lewis runs along the hash line. The ball looked like it came out for just a moment. He got it back up to the 25, almost 10 yards. And looks like the defensive coaches are not exactly thrilled for Dowling, as we're seeing a little jumping up and down on those coaches on the near side.
Wisniewski on the tackle. Nice job from his linebacker position.
We're going to say it's a pickup of 9, Dave, so it'll be 2nd and short. The playbook's wide open. Pullen under center, fakes it to Lewis, then gives it to him, and Lewis gets the yardage necessary as we go under the 2-minute mark with 1:54 to play. Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150 KWKY, streaming at kwky.com, webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org, is brought to you in part by Jethro's Barbecue, Mike McCree, and Big Red Q Quick Print. And also Midwest Mattress, bringing you Dowling Catholic. 14-7, the Maroons lead the Tigers. Tigers have the football, 1st and 10, ball at the 27-yard line. We're at Drake Stadium tonight. Great setting for a high school football game. The lights in full effect. Lewis gets the handoff. He darts his way right, then up the middle, and it's got plenty of running room. He's got the seam at the 40 into the Dowling territory down the near sideline, and he is escorted out by the Maroons. Tackle made, John Wisniewski. Wiz made that tackle, and he was really the last one before Heckman was going to have to make the safety stop.
Yeah, I believe Pullen, the quarterback, was reading that time. Nice read. And Valley really doesn't need to throw the ball a whole lot. With all the speed they have in that backfield, it just takes one play for them to pick up good yardage, as we saw there.
It was a pickup of 9, and now is a pickup of 29. Pass is complete for Valley. They get down to about the 35-yard line before the Maroons make the tackle. Catch made by Brody Bauman. And clock is at 1:18. There's a whistle on the field. It's going to be a timeout. Valley will take one as well. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Back at Drake Stadium, Paul Yeager alongside Dave Marcoulier and Brian Morris. Ramel Slaughter with us, Mike Peters with us, keeping us on time and up to date. 14-7, Dowling leads Valley here in Des Moines. Glad to have you aboard. Handoff for Trey Lewis. Wide open hole, 30, 25, 20. Still on his feet. He escaped a tackle. He's got the pylon. He's going to make it if he can beat Hawk. And he does. Touchdown, Valley, and Trey Lewis. That was a great run by the Valley back, and pending the extra point, we are going to be tied. Trey Lewis was the guy who went up the middle and basically ran a flag pattern, but he had the football.
Yeah, Poland's reading that again. It sure does look like he is, and what he's reading is if that inside opening is there, he's going to give Lewis the ball and let him run. Huge hole right up the middle. He went through the line untouched and then out-sprinted the remainder Dowling defenders. into the end zone.
And Valley wants to take a timeout as well, but we'll keep it here. Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150 KWKY, streaming on kwky.com and webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org is brought to you in part by the Tax Doctor, Greater Des Moines Catholic Football League, and Allied Construction. Pending the extra point, it's 14-13. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Tim, we will keep it here. I just want to let you know that beautiful night for football. We were talking in the last break about the crowd. Valley pretty much in all black. When the sun's not out, it's not been that ghastly hot like it was when it was 110 in the shade, and a real nice night. We had a temperature of 83 degrees and overcast skies. Rain was threatening, but right now the only thing threatening is Valley with this extra point, pending it with 1:06 could tie it up. The kick is up, and the kick is good. We're tied at 14. We'll take a break. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Depending on where you get the ball, what do you do?
Go to Dartbow. They'll double up on him probably.
I think Hartlib's underthrowing him. I think he's afraid to throw it.
Yeah.
Hartlib's, or Amara's just sitting there waiting.
That one where he got his feet tangled up, he was.
Well, the one where he caught the touchdown, I swear he was kind of tap dancing.
Yeah.
And then the other one where he got it at the D, he was...
I tell you what, if they line up in single coverage again, he's going to Dartbow.
Yeah.
I would guess they aren't going to kick it to Dartbow here.
One never knows. Back at Valley Dowling matchup, the 62nd meeting between these two squads. Valley trails in the series. Dowling leads this one overall. We're tied now at 14 with 1:06 to play as Trey Lewis caught that touchdown. It's going to be taken at the 2-yard line by Michael Gelati. Gelati takes it to the 15-yard line, and he has dropped, and that's going to be a long field to go for the Maroons. Let's check in on the sidelines with Brian Morris before halftime. Brian?
You know, guys, the weather down, and you guys mentioned the weather, it's still kind of humid on the field here. A lot of Dowling players have been coming off, getting water. The coaches are telling them to get water. I think the humidity has stayed with us, and a lot of the players are coming off a little fatigued, even though the weather they had for 2 days was that hot weather in July and August.
Regardless of those first games, it's always kind of a tough thing. Mr. Brian Morris, thank you on your sideline. 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. 14-14 our score. 1 minute to play. Hartlib is under center. 2 receivers go to the left. They're going to hand off to goalie up the middle and go the conservative route, so there'll probably be about one more play, not looking to expose anything. Take it up 14, tied at 14. I guess you're not going to open up the playbook that, with 85 yards to go, kind of changes the options Coach Wilson has.
Yeah, you're right. You got to be real careful when you're down in this territory. You don't want to make any foolish mistakes. It's been a great, well-played first half, and Dowling just has to be conservative here. If they see something, they'll take it, but right now I think they're satisfied with the score where it's at.
Goalie gets the handoff and is met by some Valley tacklers. He's going to lose a couple of yards, and that's probably going to be the last play of the first half, as the Maroons go backwards maybe 1 yard to make it 3rd and 8.
And Dowling's in no rush to get it in. In fact, that's probably the last play of the half, Paul.
All right, very good. Dave? We'll have the volleyball coaches after this, but we're going to try to find Coach Tom Wilson and Brian Morris. I got to find Brian here to make sure he's got him. Let's go down to Brian Morris with head coach Tom Wilson. Brian?
Coach, what we thought, kind of a close, well-played first half by both teams.
Well, it's a close game. It's we've had some chances. Valley has as well. I think both teams have sputtered at times, but I think we just have to get regrouped for the second half. We're kind of like a mash unit on the sidelines.
You're right. We've noticed that a lot of the players have been coming off. A few guys who have been dinged up haven't been back on the field. Do you expect them back in the second half?
Well, I'm unsure. And I know we've got a couple of serious dings, and we've got a couple of kids that have been sick, and this heat hadn't helped any.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Brian Morris, along with head coach Tom Wilson. His squad is tied here at 14. We're going to have a little halftime action. We'll talk volleyball, varsity volleyball when we come back. Tied at 14, Dowling and Valley. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Back at halftime, Paul Yeager here, 14-14, Valley and Dowling. Joining us now is head volleyball coach Mary Beth Wiskus and Lauren Jones. Coach, good to have you. And one thing that's interesting, last year when we talked, we were talking baby talk, I think. I was talking to the baby. How'd that everything came out all right, right?
It's great. I have 2 boys now. They're keeping us busy.
2 boys, that's the same thing I have, and they're both what? How old's your oldest?
7.5 months and oldest is 3.5 years.
Woo!
And youngest is 7.5 months.
A lot of fun, and especially when you're trying to do volleyball again, and you've already started that. How's practice going?
Practice is going great. The girls have been working hard. We've had 2-a-days for the last 2 weeks, and now we're getting down into, they're ready to play some matches and getting some good competition.
Have they had any scrimmages against other squads yet?
We had 3 team camps over the summer, and then we played Valley actually in a scrimmage last night. They played really well, so we're excited about getting started our season next Tuesday.
It was really kind of fun to watch everybody last year. You kind of progressed and really seemed to get folks excited. I know Coach Wilson would come up as athletic director, Wilson, and he would encourage the guys to come and encourage the community to come. It really seemed that the pack, the gym nights worked.
Yes, we started getting a really nice crowd. It's been really fun for the girls, and I think some of the girls played some of the football players this summer in sand volleyball, and they beat them. So now they are committed to coming to all our home matches. So it'll be fun.
That makes it sound like it was a bet or something that they lost.
It was a bet, and I think we ended up on the good side.
Very good. Mary Beth Wiskus, head volleyball coach. Lauren Jones is with us, and Lauren, I think you had no idea you were doing this, did you? Until about what time?
About afternoon yesterday.
Would you want more warning time than that?
Maybe, but I'll wing it.
How's it going there? You're dressed in the Maroon Crew get up. You've got the overalls that are spray painted. Are those handed down from player to player, or do you make your own each year?
No, every year when you become a senior, you go out and buy them, and then you get to spray paint them and put all these jewels on them however you want.
So how many members of the squad are here tonight?
There's a lot. Not only Maroon Crew members do it, any senior can do it. So there's a lot of people. Probably about half the people are here that have them.
So Lauren, you're a senior. What's that like to finally be a senior on the volleyball squad?
It's crazy. I don't even feel like I'm a senior. I still remember being in 8th grade, coming to the games and staying in the back, not even watching.
What has been something that stood out to you as a memory of your first 3 years as you approach that 4th year?
I think football games are a big memory because there's so many of them, and it's one of the most fun things to do because so many people come out to them, and it's a lot of fun.
All right, you've come prepared to make sure I don't throw any curveballs, but I don't like to follow questions, so you're going to have to bear with me, Lauren.
All right.
Tell me where you're from.
I'm from West Des Moines, Iowa.
So you've been in the Dowling system, and now you're getting a chance to play. Fun things that you did. Coach was talking about some of the scrimmages that you did, but tell me about these sand volleyball matches with the football team.
It was a lot of fun. There was probably about 6 of us. We even had a senior from last year come back and help us out, and there were probably some of the starting football players that came out, and it was pretty fun.
What do you like most about your team?
I like how well we get along. Like, all the seniors. There's no drama between any of us. And then we get along with all the juniors. There's even a sophomore who's dressing varsity, and she's a really cool girl, and we all love her.
And that's one of those things that's a little hard, but when you're in a more of a smaller school, the Dowling is, you kind of, it doesn't seem so big or overwhelming, and that community has kind of helped bring her along.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me the rest of your starting teammates. What's it look like to be?
I think it's about the same for all of us. It's close. We have a lot of girls that can very well be starters, so it'll be a tough thing to do.
All right, tell me who you have behind you. Do you have anything else you need to say before we pass off to Mike, Lauren?
Nope, I'm good. Behind me is Aaron Rettenmeyer.
Aaron, sit on down. That's Lauren Jones. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron, sit on down here. We got to ask you what's going on. We're at halftime, 14-14. We'll talk with Mary Beth. You can't leave yet. We got to ask you a couple more questions. But Aaron, what's been your excitement? So you've got to get up too. You got the maroon crew. You got flip flops on, and what? How else? Oh, you have. Is that your number on there? Or what do you got?
No, 2012 for seniors.
The 2012. How many seniors are there this year?
Like 350, I think. Big class, yeah.
Is that good? Do you like Mary Beth having that many seniors?
We love lots of seniors.
You love having all those seniors. So, Aaron, what's been a good part of what's been a good memory for you as a volleyball squad member through your career?
Definitely just the bonds I formed with the people on the team. Lots of friends I've made over the years from the volleyball team, which is good.
What these two-a-days and these hot gyms and things like that? What is that like? That's the bond that happens, that forms when you get in. What is something that you're looking forward to most as you approach the first real game action like the football guys are getting tonight?
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing everyone's energy. I think it's going to be a fun season, and everyone's excited and hoping to make it to state this year. So,
who are you looking at to be your biggest competition?
I think Waukee's going to be pretty good this year, so definitely them.
All right. Anything else you want to say to your friends and family that might be listening or watching us on the web tonight?
You guys should come out and watch our games every Tuesday. We'd love to have a crowd this year.
And when is the first game?
Our first game is this Tuesday against Newton, at Newton. So
all right.
Come out and support us.
All right, Aaron, you've got one more player. Who's with you now?
With us is Emma Harmeyer. She's
Emma,
our setter.
Emma, go ahead and sit down there. Emma's a setter. Aaron, thank you so much. So, Emma, tell me, you're a senior as well. How are you ready focusing in on this senior year?
I'm just really hoping we make it to state. It'd be really fun my senior year to get to go to state and do well.
So that's a goal. So you got a game coming up. Ankeny's always tough. Johnston's always tough. They're both on your schedule. What other teams look to be ones you're getting up for?
We really like playing Urbandale. They're a big rival, so I'm excited to play them again this year.
What else? What's been a memory for you as you approach your senior season? What's been something that sticks out in your mind as a memory? Are you looking to form some new ones this year?
I just have a lot of fun with all these girls. We've all become really good friends, and that's something that's been a good memory for us.
All right, thank you so much, Emma. Coach, one last thing. Your first game is Tuesday,
Tuesday night.
And give me one last plug on why folks should come out to watch your squad.
Oh, all these girls have a lot of energy. They're a lot of fun to watch, and it's a quick tempo offense, and it's just going to be a really fun season, exciting season.
All right, that's Mary Beth Wiskus, head coach of the volleyball squad. Thank you so much. Get back in the maroon crew. Hope you didn't lose your seats in the bleachers or anything like that.
Thanks for
having
having
us. Make
us.
room for you. We're at halftime. 14-14 is our score. When we come back, we'll wrap up the first half. Look at some of those first half statistics. You're listening to Dowling Catholic Football on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Appreciate that so much. Thank you, girls. Sorry that was such, we like to have, so much for room.
Hey, Paul, you're going to have that first half wrap up. 3 minutes for that, okay?
Yeah,
you guys are in after the 3 minutes, so grab a seat. You'll have a wireless, you'll have one hand mic.
Is this thing working yet? Because it didn't work in that segment.
It's plugged in. So
I'm just saying every time she talked, it wasn't working.
I don't know.
Check one,
It
two,
should be working.
three.
Why don't you do what you have to, why don't you do what you have to do with them?
Sit down, guys. One of you sit down.
One sit, one goes in there, and then one's going to have to stand over here. You'll share a mic with Paul. All right.
Hey, guys.
First, we'll do the wrap-up. Added the wrap-up, Paul, and their game stats.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Maybe they slipped them in here. I don't have anything yet. We got to work on that.
The whole segment's going to have to end pretty soon. How long will it take you to do all those wrap and stuff? 2 minutes?
Yeah, I'll do 2 minutes.
No,
with these
not
guys.
those guys. Forget them. They're not next.
What are you talking about?
You're doing this right now. Wrap up the first half.
Well, okay. I don't have anything to. Can I do these guys next? And
Sure.
I got to fill time until I get those stats. How much time do I have? Any idea?
What'd you say?
How much time before we're back?
I don't know. A minute and a half?
Okay.
Maximum. Don't leave.
I'm not.
Don't you have a phone number for him?
Where is it? I do like since like the 50s. Alright, and then after that is it you again? I go, for those of you who don't know, down the Valley Big Rivals. 3 mile. I say
No,
close.
he's
You
going to try
say
to
3
find me
miles.
some stats.
Okay.
Hey.
You say top of rankings, and then I do last year.
30 seconds.
Back at half. 14-14, Dowling and Valley are tied. Great football game so far. Paul Yeager, Dave Marcoulier, Brian Morris. But joining us now, Mike Tarpey and Connor Ruggieri. And guys, first half impressions, quick.
Well, so far this game has been really good. It's tied, and right now I'm thinking that Dowling has a better chance of winning.
Dowling has a good chance. Is that the same thing you think?
I do think they have a good chance, but they need to tighten up their defense a bit.
This is always fun when you're playing Valley. You don't get much better when you're tied at 14. It's a big rivalry.
It is. And this rivalry has been going on since before we were born, Mike.
Almost back in the 1950s. Now, for those of you who don't know, Dowling and Valley are bitter rivals. One of the reasons for this is both schools are very close together.
They're only 3 miles apart from each other, meaning you could walk down to each other's school.
Also, both schools tend to have very good football teams. They're always in the top half of the division and play each other a lot.
Now, last year's, in the last 2 years, Dowling has won pretty big, except in the playoffs, where they only won by 3 points in overtime against Valley.
However, most games are normally decided by less than 7 points.
And according to ESPN, this is the top rivalry in the entire state of Iowa.
Now, Valley's beating Dowling when it comes to championships with 4 to our record of 3.
But last year's season records show that Dowling was undefeated at 14-0, and Valley only went 7-4.
Now, the Des Moines Register rates Dowling 3rd, while Valley is only ranked number 6.
And the 2 teams above Dowling are Iowa City High and Cedar Falls.
But we beat Iowa City High in the championships last year.
And who's to say we can't do it sometime else this season?
All right, very good. That's Mike Tarpey, Connor Ruggieri. Guys, thank you so much. Enjoy the second half, and we'll talk to you on the other side. When we come back, we'll take a look at other CIML scores and recap some of those first half statistics. We're tied at halftime, 14-14, Dowling and Valley. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports on 1150 KWKY.
Thank you, guys.
Do you need us anymore?
He's having problems with the stats. They said something about problem with the camera. So Mel came to see me and
Want to stay totally at the end? You can stay totally at the end.
I think Connor might.
We're done. We're done. Thank you. I'll talk to you guys Monday.
All right.
About that. Since I have golf,
Okay. We don't need to discuss it now. I'll talk to you Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
As soon as he can.
All right, I'll sit down. We'll recap the half on our own here. Do I need to take another break?
Well, what's happens here with one?
Well, we still have.
It's over?
No, we have 3 minutes.
Did all
after
3 of those girls get on there?
Yeah, I
just
did get them all. I did get them all.
I didn't know if you knew 2 more.
Okay, we're just going to do the wrap up.
They just kept coming in.
You're going to, and the stop set, you're going to do the wrap up and continue into the game?
I'll take another break if I can, because they're going to set the clock back for 3 more minutes.
It'll be 3 more minutes. Okay.
They still have to
So
do
you guys are going to do
There's
your wrap
3
here?
right now.
Now we have 3, so
Okay,
when they're
good.
back onto the field. So we
Good.
We're back at Drake Stadium on the campus of Drake University. No, we're not.
Say something, Paul.
Hi, I'll say something, Paul.
My left ear's dead.
Yeah, it's been dead, I think, most of the night.
$45 seconds. So this is wrap up and other game stats? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, we don't have stats, though. The problem is...
Okay, so just wrap up. It's good
Just
enough.
gonna wrap up. We'll be fine.
Good. And will you continue into the game right out of that?
We're going to have to now.
Okay, good.
So I'll take one of those promos or something you want to read.
Whatever, yeah. Get ready. 10 seconds.
"14-14's your score. Dowling and Valley as we're back here at halftime. Paul Yeager alongside Dave Marcoulier.
He just said 30 seconds.
All right. I see. I don't hear Tim at all. I don't hear program. I don't hear a thing.
He just said 30 seconds, guys.
Okay. You point to me to go, I go. All right. Keep going.
I hear the commercial.
14-14's your score. We're at halftime, getting ready to play the second half. Dowling got the ball to start that first half. They'll play in the second half here, Dave. First half impressions.
You know, I thought the play started off a little bit sloppy, a little nerves showed by both teams, but then they put things together and settled down a little bit. I tell you what, both offenses are explosive. I think we're finding that out, and the defense has stepped up and met the challenge so far. So, you know, you'd almost have to say it's a defensive battle right now, Paul.
Ankeny leads Waukee 21-8. That's in the second quarter. Southeast Polk rolling over Lincoln tonight 41-0. Johnston and Ottumwa 7-7. Indianola leads Hoover 42-0. No score yet between Roosevelt and Marshalltown, at least no score reported to us. Heelan leads Sioux City East 14-8, and Ames in front of North 33-0. You were kind of looking forward to that Southeast Polk Lincoln game. I'm in the camp of I think Southeast Polk's a good football team with you, Dave.
I think they're an outstanding football team, and I think that score tells a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, Lincoln is in the top 10 or close. They have three outstanding running backs. Two of them could be Division I. I think Lincoln's weakness possibly is their offensive line, though.
Dowling Catholic will get the football. They will defend the south end zone here at Drake Stadium. Beautiful night for football. I mean, the rain has gone away. It's not an oppressive heat. It's just a gorgeous night as we get ready to strap it on for the second half. Dowling will receive. The kicker is Nick Gales. He is at the left side of your radio, and he puts the ball into the air with his right foot. High end-over-end kick taken at about the 6-yard line by Brandon Ogden, who's up at the 15 to the 20 and fighting his way, but just can't break the plane to the 25-yard line. He is stopped at the 24. And let's go down to the field and check in with our Brian Morris. Brian, let's go down to you on the field. Brian Morris, hello. We'll check in with Brian Morris later. It's
on every kickoff they have Amara Darbo kind of in the middle, and they have Brandon Ogden off to the left side. Valley every time is trying to pin Dowling into that side. So we'll see if, as the game goes on, if the opportunity arises, if they'll move Amara, maybe move him around right before the kickoff to allow maybe Amara to get a touch on that kickoff.
Hartlib ran the first football in for this score, and he threw the second one to Amara Darbo. That's how Dowling got both of their scores. Trey Lewis got both scores for the Valley Tigers. Hand off to Bengoli. He tries to get around to the outside, and he cannot. He is knocked out of bounds, probably struggling to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he does. So it'll be second down and 10.
Yeah, nice flow by the Valley defense on that play. Dowling Catholic came out in double tight, double flanker. They had double coverage on Darbo. Tried to run away from him, and they were unsuccessful. Brings up second and 10.
14-14's our score. 11 and a half minutes to play. Beautiful night. Very quiet crowd. This is the quietest 9,000 people I think I've ever heard. Let's see if we can make a little bit of noise if you're listening on your radio tonight. Trips come to the left side of the field. Hartlib's going to throw it into the air. He's got Ogden in and out of his hands. Incomplete. Ogden was there. It just went right through him. The defender was Nolan Loden for the Valley Tigers. It'll be third and 10.
Yeah, that was definitely a catchable ball. Ogden just put his hands up a little bit too late, had to adjust with his eyesight, vision a little bit, but probably should have caught that ball.
1150 KWKY, Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150 KWKY, streaming at kwky.com and webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org. Is brought to you in part by Obstetrical and Gynecological Associates, Two Rivers Glass and Door, Northwest Bank, and Triplet Companies. 14-14's your score, 11:05 to play third quarter, Dowling and Valley from Drake Stadium. Dan Hartlib in the shotgun formation. Looks to the right, throws to the right, caught and complete by Hawk. Hawk has it at the 25, fights his way up to the 30, but he's going to be well short of the first down. That's a play that you can run when you got speed, but it just didn't develop.
Yeah, he tried to pop it back inside, but you're running right to Valley strength, which is their linebacking core. It's okay to come back inside, but he should probably try and turn it upfield and get whatever he can out of that.
Ball goes up to the 28, so it was a gain of 4, but Dowling's going to have to punt the football. Back deep is Hawk. He just caught that football. He is a left-footed kicker. He gets the snap and throws it into the air with his left foot. Nice spiral kick. Bounces at the 40 to the 35-yard line, where the Maroons will form a tight circle around it. And a little John going on between, looks like that's Ogden and DJ Robinson. No penalties. Well, there is one on the far side of the field right now. 14-14's our score, 10-19. Legal procedure against the Maroons. Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150, KWKY, streaming on KWKY.com and webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org is brought to you in part by Principal Financial Group, Echo Valley Country Club, Bozen the Florist, and Mercy Medical Center.
That was a legal procedure on Dowling Catholic, and Valley has elected to take the ball where it's at. They have declined it. Brings up 1st and 10 Valley.
I think that's the call you've got to do, because you could get it punt, you could have it go off your head. It's a pretty darn good field position. You're starting at your own 34-yard line.
Yeah, I just think they're excited to get their offense back on the field and see what they can do here in the third quarter.
They have been impressive tonight. That front line is yet another good Valley front line. They just impressive with Jake Campos, Austin Stevens, Cam Hansen, Des Talley, and Trevor Hansen up front. They're big hosses. They're going to roll to Lewis. Comes to the near side. Lewis gets 3 yards before he's even touched. That ball gets up to the 40, so it's a pickup of almost 5 yards.
Just straight ahead blocking with Wisniewski on the tackle. It's going to take me a while to say his name. I'm getting it close, but he's an outstanding athlete. Been in a lot of plays this year, or excuse me, this evening. Nice tackle.
Dowling Catholic, no record. This is their first game of the season. Same for the Valley Tigers. No record is their first game of the season as well. Pullen under center, rolls, and hands off to Lewis. But on those slow developing plays, it looks like Dowling is plugging things up as the big horse for Valley, Trevor Hansen, kind of got tied up with Matt Murfeld.
Avery Mason made a great tackle on that. On that play, Valley pulled their backside guard and tackle. Guard missed his block, which was, I believe, Mason. Mason came in and made a nice tackle on that play to bring up a big third down play for Valley Tigers.
Starting to hear a little rumbling from the crowd underneath. Great size crew tonight in their maroon shirts. On the far side, it's the black and orange of the Valley Tigers. Pulling on 3rd and 4. Drops back to pass, pulls it under to run, and he is hit and dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Great tackle made. Looks like...
I believe it was Avery Mason who made the initial hit, and then his friends came to help out.
I think Dakota Johnson also helped out there. We're coming up on just after 9 o'clock in Middle America. You're listening to Dowling Catholic Sports on 1150 KWKY Des Moines. 14-14's your score, 8:33. Glad to have you aboard. It is short. It'll be 4th down. No gain on that play, so the Maroons will get the football back pending the punt.
Nice defensive stand by Dowling Catholic.
Back deep as Matthew Hawk stands with his heels at the 18-yard line. The punt, this time it is caught, and it's blocked! Blocked by the Maroons! Picked back up by the Tigers, but it does not matter. Brandon Ogden was there. So was Alex Heckman.
Alex Heckman is the one who blocked it, I believe, Paul.
And they're also giving a high five to Ogden. There was some good pressure up front. Also coming down there, Dakota Johnson. So you could pick any one of those three. And also Andrew Clement. Brian Morris, did you have a better look at who got it? Brian Morris, who blocked that?
Yeah, Alex Heckman got in there. He blew right by his blocker, put his hands up, made a block. And Dowling, again, another turnover, another miscue. Valley, this is where Dowling really needs to capitalize, as Coach Wilson talked about at the halftime. They need to capitalize on these Valley mistakes.
And this is what happened to Valley last year. The reason they lost the game, they had 3 turnovers, and Dowling scored on all 3, and they're doing it again tonight.
Ball's on the 30-yard line of the Valley Tigers. Darbo goes in motion. It's the give to goalie up the middle. He's got some room at the 30, cuts it back outside, gets his head down, charges those feet, gets into about the 17-yard line, maybe up to the 16, pickup of almost 15 yards for Ben Goalie.
Great run by Ben Goalie. Beautiful blocking on the left side behind TJ Palmy and Jacob Curvin that time to spring Goalie for a nice first down pickup.
13 yards on the play, puts it to the 17, tied at 14 between Dowling and Valley. This is one of those games where the paper got it right. They haven't been close very often, but maybe tonight is that night. Tied at 14, 7:30 to play. Hartlib gives it back to Goalie up the middle. Goalie gets off the left tackle, gets across the 15, and no further as Jacob Bell is getting off the bottom of that pile. Also, Taryn Phillips for the Valley Tigers.
Goalie going up the middle behind Kramer and Palmy. Kinko. Curvin and Palmy.
Like to see those guys make some move some Tiger here. 2nd and 8 from the 15. And Dowling moves on that play. It'll be a penalty on the Maroons. Next week we're on the air at 6 o'clock. Game will be at Valley Stadium against Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. We'll have you back for the pregame show at 6 o'clock, kickoff around 7:30. That's the only time we're at Valley this season, Dave.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't think there's a preliminary game next week.
I believe you're right. I think that's they don't usually play the sophomores against the Council Bluffs schools, and
I believe we have 3 or 4 games this year, Paul, without preliminary games. Quite a few. It's unusual.
Yeah. Well, we're playing at Drake here 3 times, and the one time at East and 1 time at Council Bluffs. So we'll see how that goes. The penalty does go against the Maroons. 2nd and 13 from the 20. Little motion. Hartlib throws it. Behind Hawk. Hawk was open and had nothing but daylight in front of him. Thrown on the right shoulder. It needed to be on the left shoulder. He was running straight up the field. Incomplete. It'll be now 3rd down and 13.
Well, that was a beautifully designed play. Hawk ran a little seam inside. Darbo fake, just took a step back, and the other receiver ran a post pattern, a flag pattern. Hawk was wide open the middle. That's a pass Dan Hartley would like to have back.
No pressure, but if you're Dowling, you really kind of have to capitalize on this score when you take the ball over on the Valley 30-yard line.
Yeah, he was wide open. That's too bad. That was a nicely executed play.
2 receivers left, 2 receivers right. I formation behind Hartlib in the shotgun is Goalie, and again,
Delay
a penalty.
Game.
Could not get the playoff, and now we're thinking this looks like the first quarter all of a sudden, Dave.
Yeah, Dan Hartley, a young quarterback, first varsity game. That's one thing you got to learn to watch is that play clock, and that's up to him to know how much time. If he doesn't have enough time to get the play off, he's got to call timeout, but he's got to check that clock when he comes out of that huddle.
Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150 KWKY, streaming at kwky.com and webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org is brought to you in part by Central Financial, Monroe Law Office, and the Better Business Bureau. 14-14, Valley and Dowling locked in a good one here from Drake Stadium. 3rd and 18, passes to Omar Darbo, caught! And very, very close to the first down. They're going to stop the clock, and they'll probably, by this location, looks like it will be a first down catch. They needed 18, and I think they got 18, Dave.
I tell you, it looks to me, Paul, I'd like to see this again. It looks to me like Valley is only playing 3 down linemen, and the other 8 guys are all standing up in the secondary someplace to try and slow down this passing game.
Well, and that's when you need to be effective at running the football or changing who is running the ball, running the offense. We saw Wiz lined up at quarterback for 2 plays, and we haven't seen him since. 1st and goal from the 7.
There he goes.
Up
Touchdown goalie.
Ben Goalie goes across the goal line for the score, and the Maroons take the lead 20-14 with 6:16 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Great blocking by Dowling Catholic offensive line from left to right. TJ Palmy, Jake Curvin, Mark Kinko, Evan Barkley, and Jimmy Barsetti. Nice run to the right. That was such a nice hole, Paul. I think one of us could have made it.
Now, I did have some yards as a back, maybe not that many, and didn't play at this level, but Avery Mason on for the extra point, puts his leg into it, kicks it through. Maroons take a 21-14 lead with 6:16 remaining in the third quarter. This is the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY.
Nice drive. I tell you what, I hope I'm off the air. We're flat out coaching them right now because they got the better people, without question.
Where's my highlighter? There it is.
I haven't gotten anything from them because they were working on the camera and I haven't gotten any stats from them.
They got bars up there? Is that what they're doing, eating their bars?
I have no idea because Zimmerman didn't print them out yet. That's all I know.
Okay.
Southeast continuous clock starts to break through for 3 touchdowns and 185 yards in the first half.
A 6-play drive is capped by Ben Goley's 7-yard touchdown run to make it 21-14, Dowling Catholic and ahead of Valley with 6:16 remaining here in the third quarter. Paul Yeager alongside Dave Marcoulier, Brian Morris here, Ramel Slaughter, Mike Peters on site for you. Avery Mason will kick the ball off to the left side of your radio dial. It's picked up by Trey Lewis at the 5-yard line. Lewis has it to the 10, 15, 20, and he gets to about the 25-yard line before the tackle is made by the Maroons. Actually, strike that. It was Tyus Mason, the sophomore. Thought we'd see more of Mason, but Lewis has just had a flat-out good game, Dave.
Yeah, he really has. And Max Spile on the tackle on that play for Dowling Catholic. First time we've been able to call his name tonight, so nice job, Max.
First and 10 for the Tigers. They're at the 26-yard line. Their own 26. Trailing 21-14. Been a close ball game between these two squads. Fake the handoff. Instead, go to Lewis, who's got wide open running room. First down and more. Good sprint. That time it is Mason. It is Tyus Mason in the game. Mason, a fresh set of legs. And Wisniewski makes the tackle. Ball gets all the way up to, I think, the 39.
Yeah, Wisniewski and Hickman and both in on the tackle that time. I happen to have the binoculars on that play, Paul, and there was a very nice hole right up the center of the Dowling defense that play.
Pickup of 12 yards, first and 10 from the Valley 38-yard line. Receiver comes in motion as Hinkle. It's the give to Hinkle on the jet play. Hinkle is met, tackled, and escorted to the turf by John Wisniewski. I'm going to say his name probably 7 different ways just tonight. So, Wiz, I'd like to just call you that, but that's just not very nice to your family.
Well, you know what? He'd be thankful that you had the opportunity to call his name 9 times, because that means he's making 9 tackles. So that's a pretty good ball game for him. So maybe we can mispronounce his name as many times as we want.
He'll take it, you know, and he has got a body that's the same size, same height-wise as Ben Bozen, kind of that Ben Bozen-type player, but it looks like he's going to have a little more muscle maturity in his opportunity to grow.
He's just as nice a kid as Ben Bozen, too. He's a great kid.
Quick pass goes to Hinkle. Hinkle escapes 1 tackle, but he is not going to escape 2 as Matt Murfeld was there first. Actually, Wiz was there first.
It was Wiz who came up and who broke that up. Didn't make the tackle, but he slowed it down and let his buddies come up and help him out there. Brings up 3rd and long. Another nice job by Dowling defense if we can hold on one more play here and get the ball back.
3rd and 6 from the 42-yard line. Gorgeous night for high school football. Not a cloud in the sky when it's dark. I don't know why I'd say that, but it just sounds fun. Maroon fans on the near side of the field start to make some noise. So do the Valley fans on the far side. 3rd and 6. Pullen's going to throw. Does. Incomplete. Incomplete. It'll be 4th down, so the Dowling defense starting to gel. Or I don't know if it's a difference of Valley just not executing.
You know, Paul, while we have a minute here, we got to give a shout-out here to Mark Campos, who has coached the Southside Packers for many years. Unfortunately, Mark is in a coma at the current time. He had a massive heart attack Sunday. We sure hope he's listening. We'll do all we can to help you pull the Maroons through. It's his wife Paula's birthday today. So, Mark, we sure are praying for you. Paula, happy birthday, and we'll keep your whole family in our thoughts and prayers.
She would take a Maroon win, and the punt by Valley is going to touch at the 30, roll parallel to the 30-yard line, and roll out of bounds at the 29. Yeah, we got that note later this afternoon, and they said they were going to have the radio on at the ICU room there at Mercy. And we talked a little bit about it with the volleyball team. We've talked about it several times over the years. It really is a family with Dowling Catholic, and when one's down, everybody feels it.
Yeah, and you know, I know some of the Campos family, and it's an outstanding family, and it's just an unfortunate thing that happened, but please know that we are praying for you, and your family is in our thoughts.
Bengoli gets the handoff and gets about 2, maybe 3 yards up the middle. And he is tackled, Valley, by the, looks like that's Taryn Phillips. Taryn wearing orange shoes. I should just identify him by his orange shoes with his white jersey. Makes the tackle, 2nd and 7 from the 33. 21-14's our score. Dowling leads this one. We're in the third quarter, Dave.
You know, he's such a tough kid, he can probably get by with his teammates wearing those orange shoes, Paul.
He is. There's a lot of tough players on that Valley squad. They're bringing back 10 starters. Pretty veteran squad. Goalie and Hartlib get a little tied up, but he gets it. Hartlib gets it off to Goalie eventually, who finds some room and gets up to the 40, puts his head down. So every once in a while, Dave, there's been some flashes of Goalie having some abilities to really kind of be a big play.
Yeah, I'm extremely impressed with Ben Goalie. We saw some of him last year, but we usually saw Dalton Parrott handle the offense, but I'm very impressed with Ben Goalie. He's an outstanding running back. Let's keep that kid healthy and get him through the season.
Under 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Dowling leads 21-14. Hartlib under center. He's going to pass. 5-step drop, looking
open.
left. Here comes some pressure, and he's tackled by the shoelaces, and that was the only way that play was going to be blown up. Zach Hanneman got his right hand on Dan Hartlib's shoe and knocked him down all the way back to the 34-yard line, and Coach Wilson's going to have to take a timeout.
It looks like it's
Hartlib might be hurt a little bit.
Yeah, he is hurt. I think someone stepped on his foot, Paul, is what happened. I tell you, he had Darbo open, and it's a good thing Valley didn't let him plant, or he would have completed that. But I think someone stepped on his foot. I think he's going to be okay.
So that means looks like we're going to be saying John's name a little bit more, because John Wisniewski is going to go under center here for the Maroons.
He is the backup quarterback, and looking the way they're working on Dan on the sideline, it looks like he has a leg cramp.
We'll check in. Yep, Brian Morris has given us the head affirmative up and down. Brian is standing at the 30-yard line right in front of us, but down on the field. We'll check in with you in a moment, Brian. Wisniewski runs the offense, sends a hawk in motion, fakes it, and goes back up the middle. Some room, surprisingly some room. I think he was expecting to get hit, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, which is about the 41-yard line. So now it'll be 2nd and 10. Let's go down to the field and check in with Brian Morris.
Yeah, Coach Lark's down here working that. It looks like the calf really cramped up a little bit on Dan Hartlib. He's walking around now. What somebody needs to do is get him some water so that you can replenish those fluids for him. But it looks like the calf is giving him a little problems.
I believe pickle juice, isn't that one of those remedies that you would use on a hot night like tonight?
It is. Wisniewski is the backup quarterback. Can throw the ball, but I think we'll see him predominantly run it.
He's under center now with an I formation. 2-step drop. Looks for Amara Darbo around the near side. It's going to be overthrown. Might be intercepted, and it is. Picked off by the Valley Tigers. The pickoff is made by Eric Cushing. He was one-on-one on the near side of the field, and it was just an overthrown ball. Don't discredit the Maroons. They were just trying to keep everybody honest, but just a little too far.
Yeah, Darbo on a straight fly pattern. Amara made an excellent effort to try and get the ball away from the defender. He actually turned into the cornerback on that play, and the Valley guy turned into the receiver. But nevertheless, it was intercepted. Valley's ball on the 22-yard line, 1:31 left in the third quarter.
All right, take a look at some other scores here quickly. Ankeny leads Waukee 24-8. Southeast Polk continuous clock on Lincoln 48-0. Indianola also continuous clock on Hoover 42-0. Ames in front of North 47-0. Johnston 24, Ottumwa 14. Back at live action, it's the give to Tyus Mason. As it's 21-14 here, Dowling leads Valley with 1:23 to play in the third quarter. Bishop Heelan leads Sioux City East 14-8, and Sioux City North and Western Christian are tied at 17. Lincoln and Jefferson, that's Council Bluffs Lincoln and Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. It's 21-6 right now, Lincoln leading that score. We'll see Jefferson next week at Valley. And Central Lyon defeated Sioux City West tonight 51-0. Central Lyon frequently makes it to the Unidome. 2nd and 6, it's a handoff. Mason, Tyus Mason falls down. Otherwise, he'd still be running.
Yeah, he tripped on the yard line that time. He had a nice hole there, or he could have picked up quite a bit more.
Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150 KWKY, streaming at kwky.com and webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org is brought to you in part by Principal Financial Group, NutriCal, Two Rivers Glass and Door, Echo Valley Country Club, and Triplet Companies. 21-14, 40 seconds remain as Dowling leads here in the third quarter. Valley has the football on the north side of the field. They're on their own 32-yard line. 1st and 10, Jeff Pullen under center. Rolls to the far side, hands off to Mason. Mason tries to follow the lead blocking, which was more on a slant, and the Maroons were right into it, coming from behind to make that tackle. Avery Mason, who's seen a lot of action tonight, and Matt Dunbar also making that tackle.
And I tell you, Leif Monson had got in there and really disrupt that play and forced him to turn it upside where he really didn't want to.
And that is going to do it. That is the end of the third quarter with Dowling Catholic leading West Des Moines Valley 21-14. The final 8 minutes when we return. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY.
Make sense to be able to walk all so you guys can walk all the way around to meet Brian on the field?
What's that?
At the end of the game, you're going to walk all the way outside, walk all the way, or you're going to walk all the way around to get to Brian on the field?
We are?
Post-game.
You're asking me?
I'm asking you.
No,
he
does it all from there.
And you stay up
I
here.
stay up here and run it.
Good.
And he gets them. We'll get him to get
What
us.
does Dave do? Get his beers?
Yeah, Dave, we tap dance until he's there. Brian tries to get him as close to midfield.
Okay. So Brian and the coach and all that, you'll stay up here.
Yeah, I've heard that I've been on the web even on off time tonight.
Yes. I've got a few texts you have right now.
On the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY, we begin the fourth quarter of play. 8 minutes. I don't know what I was thinking, 8 minutes. It's like I'm talking basketball. 12 minutes remain between Valley and Dowling, and so far it has been a great first few minutes of this contest. I love it, I love it, I love it. Ball at the 31-yard line. Jeff Pullen fakes the pass, then gives it on the draw. Delayed play to Mason, and Mason goes nowhere. Mason tackled at the 32.
Do you want to say it or should I?
Go for it.
Wisniewski on the tackle. Nice tackle by Joe Wisniewski again. I tell you, we get to say it so many times, we're either going to get used to saying it wrong or we're going to finally learn how to say it.
Maybe if we get him in the postgame, we can do a segment where he... Wisniewski is exactly how you say it. Maroon fans starting to make some noise. Ball's at the 33, 3rd and 9. This is a big play. Not saying it would seal it or end it, but it would certainly keep some momentum on the Dowling side of the field. Fans to their feet, or at least making some noise. Pullen drops back and throws, and it's complete, and in front of the first down marker, very close, and it looks like it is caught by Quinton Smith. That'll be enough to move the chain, so on 3rd and 9, the Tigers convert.
He made it by about a foot, Paul. That's finding the markers and catching the ball.
That was a big, big play right there on 3rd and 9. So they needed 9. They got it, and not by much more. 1st and 10. Ball will be on the 43-yard line of the Valley Tigers. Pullen goes under center, has a I formation behind him, one receiver to the left and right of him. He's under center, gives it to Mason, who runs left, then back to the middle of the field where the big D, and cuts it to the outside. Still on his feet. He is likely going to score a touchdown. Tyus Mason down the far sideline is tackled at the 5, a touchdown. Saving tackle made by the Maroons. Otherwise, we have a tie ball game. Alex Heckman saves 6.
Yeah, those Valley backs at any time can beat you with their speed.
Tyus Mason just absolutely ran towards the middle of that field, ran across where the Drake Bulldog is, and then took off for the right side. Gets it all the way down to the 5-yard line where it'll be 1st and goal.
And he's just a 5'9", 154-pound sophomore who is also the point guard on the basketball team. Started as a freshman, quite a basketball player.
Are you saying we'll say Tyus Mason's name a little bit in the next few years?
I think so.
Mason is out. Lewis is back in. Lewis gets the call from the right, and he is stopped. He is stopped in a hurry. Alex Kramer. Coach Wilson said earlier in the week that it was going to be some baptism by fire for Alex Kramer. He's right in the middle of that one. Looks like it's gone his way on that play.
Well, I tell you, he won that one. He was in the backfield just as soon as the ball was snapped. Great job by number 70, Alex Kramer, Jr., 225 pounds.
2nd and goal from the 6. Tigers break the huddle. Ellingson is the fullback. Lewis is the tailback. 9:41 to replay in this ballgame. Lewis gets the handoff. Dutz in the middle, dances to the left side and gets down to the 1. Maybe the 2. Fell forward.
Tell you, it's too bad Sam Harold had it on the line of scrimmage. Wasn't quite able to hold on to him. And he picked up a couple, 2 or 3 more yards after that. Brings up 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, Paul.
3rd and goal. 9:13 remaining. The Maroon fan faithful trying to get behind their team. The Tigers on their feet on the far sideline. They come to their feet, and they're going to call a timeout, and so will we. Dowling leads 21-14 on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Back on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. The crowd's making some noise. Valley's driving. The quarterback sneak by Jeff Pullen is up the middle, up the gut, and he is ever so close to smelling that end zone. He is in. Touchdown, Valley.
Well, I tell you, you get behind those big linemen of Valley, and good call by Gary Swenson, because that is awfully difficult to stop.
You're running behind the likes of Jake Campos, who's 6'7", 244. Austin Stevens, a senior, 6'3", 270. Cam Hansen, 6'1", 201. Austin and Cam, Stevens and Hansen are the returning guys up front. And Coach Swenson told me today, he says, I like having those guys back up front. Very solid. So we're an extra point away from being tied. The kick is up, and the kick is good. We're tied at 21 with 9:01 to play. When we come back, the Maroons will get the ball back. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. over, Dave.
To him here at the drinking.
You're on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. The ball is taken by Matthew Hawk at the 5 to the 10 to the 15. Makes his way to the 20 on this kickoff return. And the Maroons will have the football at the 25-yard line. Let's check in with Brian Morris. Our score, 21-21 with 8:53 to play. Brian Morris, hello.
Hey guys, the Valley Tigers, they get back into that running game, and it seems like they have had a lot of success with that tonight. When they get back and try to throw that ball, that's when they've had a little unsuccess. So I can see the rest of the game, Coach Swinson trying to run that ball because they're having a nice blocking up front by those big tackles, and they keep running to that right side.
Brian Morris on our sidelines tonight. He'll be with Coach Wilson in the postgame. We'll chase down a couple of players as well. 21-21, 8:53 to play in this football game. 60-second meeting between these two squads. Great battle tonight in Des Moines, Iowa at Drake University. Hartlib is back, throws it for Brandon Ogden. Caught at the 40, first down. Nice pickup of almost 17 yards. Hartlib to Ogden.
What a beautiful pass by Dan Hartlib. Just floated it in there beautifully to Ogden to pick up a big first down, brings it all the way out to the 42-yard line.
Ogden's one of the fastest guys. Coach Wilson said that he was beating Dalton Parrott in track last year. Now, football speed and track speed are different things, but you just want to try to get him into the mix, and that's what they're doing right there. Ogden gets the ball out to the 42-yard line. The Maroons have it. Hand off to Goalie. Goalie comes to the right side, near side of the field. Gets his way down to about the 5 where the 50-yard marker is at, but it's really about the 48-yard line. Pickup of 6.
That beautiful hole by Evan Barkley, number 57, and Jimmy Parsisetti on the right side just really opened that up for goalie to run through.
I'm going to say that was a pickup of 7, so it's a 2nd and 3 situation now. Ball is at the Dowling 48-yard line, 8:13 to play, tied at 21. Dowling and Valley from Drake Stadium. Hartlib in the shotgun, heels at the 44-yard line, gives it to Goalie. Goalie goes into the gut of the line, and he gets stuck in the glut. He breaks out, but they're going to say he lost momentum. Never touched his knee, but there was no more forward progress, and so they gave it 1, 2, maybe 3 beats, blew the play dead, even though goalie thought he had escaped and gotten down the sideline. Let's check some other scores here from the CIML. Ankeny leads Waukee 24-14. Southeast Polk has defeated Lincoln tonight 48-13. Ames in front of North 47-0. Johnston leads Ottumwa 24-14, and Roosevelt trails Marshalltown 28-7. Here, our score is 21-21 with 7:23 to play in the fourth quarter. Goalie gets the football and gets back up across midfield. Is going to be close to that first down. It was 3rd and 2. He'll be close, and I think he got it.
I think he has it, too. I tell you, nice hard run right up the center of the line. He picked it up by about half a yard to a yard. Nice first down, Dowling Catholic.
Ball had to get to the 43, and that's really where they did. But now the Maroons are in Valley territory. Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150 KWKY, streaming on kwky.com and webcasting at dowlingcatholic.org is brought to you in part by Meredith Corporation, Capital Orthopedic, and Paul Davis Systems. 21-21, miscommunication on the field. We're going to take a break here. Timeout for Dowling. You're on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Back at Drake Stadium, 21-21 on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Dowling has the football on the far side of the field. It's Amara Darbo. Haven't called his name in a while. Amara gets 3 tough yards. I'll tell you one thing, Dave, that I think we're going to see all season. We should maybe play like a bingo game of what coaches from colleges across the country that are going to be here watching him play.
Yeah, I tell you what, there'll be a bunch of them because he's being recruited by almost every school in the nation. He has narrowed his list down to 5, and if we ever get time, we'll talk about it.
Ball is at the 44-yard line, pickup of 3. Ball was on the 47. Hard snap count forces it's a fake reverse to Darbo. Keeping it as goalie, puts his head down, gets down to the 40 to the 39. Bowls his way over Taryn Phillips. And also in on that tackle is Ryan Knopf. Knopf, we haven't called his name tonight. He's a 6'4", 200-pound defensive lineman.
Goalie did a nice job. Arenas blocking that time. Wisniewski kicked out his man, and goalie broke right off his tail. Exactly what he's taught to do. Picked up some good yardage.
Ball's at the 39. 3rd and a long 2. Hartlib under center. Hard snap count. Finally snaps it. Fumble. Ball's on the floor of the Drake Stadium field. I think Valley's going to get it. It looked like Hartlib and goalie just never made connection on that. They stopped, blown the whistle dead, and Valley has the football.
No, you're right. That was a bad exchange. They just never meshed together. Goalie never got it. Went to the turf. We have an injured Dowling Maroon on the field.
We're going to take a timeout. We're tied at 21. You're on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY.
Dowling's first turnover.
Did we throw an interception earlier?
Oh, that's 2.
13-yard gain for Trey Lewis on first down. Gets the ball to the 47 of Dowling. Back here on the radio, 21-21. We're tied as Tyus Mason is now in. That was Mason. Now it's Lewis. Lewis gets the ball, hops over a defender. So now it's going to be the alternate backs, and they're just going to run all over Dowling, who looks a little bit tired, Dave.
Yeah, I tell you what, between Trey Lewis, who's a senior, 5'7", 167, and Tyus Mason, sophomore, 5'9", 154, they're identical backs. They look exactly alike. They're just alternating them every play now. Mason is probably the freshest. He hasn't played as much. Tremendous speed. Both of them have breakaway speed. Mason comes in for this play now, and look for him to carry the ball.
The Tigers have gained 25 yards in the last 2 plays. The last time Valley beat Dowling was 2 years ago in a playoff game. Handoff goes to Mason on the right side. Tyus Mason. The plays to the outside have not been as successful as the plays up the middle, Dave, for Valley, I would say.
Yes, that's true. They're having a tough time getting up in the middle, and I know Dowling's defense is designed to force them outside where they have a little more linebacking help.
Gain of 2 on that play gets it to the Dowling 33-yard line. Maroons are going to have to make a stop. There's a few players playing both ways. It's that first game of the season. The conditioning might just not be there yet. You got to find out who's got what in the tank. 3:50 remains. Clock rolling. Tied at 21. Pulling under center. Gives it to Mason. Mason escapes one tackle but can't escape the second. Back at the line of scrimmage.
Wisniewski had him. He was able to break that tackle. Matt Murfield came in and held on and made the tackle. Brings up 3rd and 8, Paul. Big play. Could be 4-down territory. You never know.
No gain on that one. Crowd comes to their feet here. Listen to them roar at Drake Stadium. Valley has won 11 of the last 19 regular season games in this series. They'd like to make it 12 of 20. Pulling under center. He's going to pass the football. On 3rd and 8, he's got a receiver. It's caught by Ellingson, and Ellingson is so close to that first down. I think he's got it. He needed to get.
I think he's short, Paul. Wisniewski came in, made a nice tackle. I think he's going to be about 2 yards short.
It's on the far side of the field. Looked like he rolled. They dropped the down marker. And
Yeah.
it is 4th and 2. 4th and a long one.
And I'm quite certain they'll go for it on this play. With those big linemen, last time they needed to pick up 2 yards, they ran the quarterback sneak.
Be a good position to do it. Go right up the middle behind Cam Hansen and Austin Stevens. Come on, Maroons, make some noise. 4th and 2 from the 27. It's a handoff to Lewis. Lewis has the first down. He is across the 25-yard line down to the 24. The drive continues with 2:52 to play. Now, Dave, Valley needs to take a little bit of time. They need to score, but not give too much time to Dowling Catholic.
Yeah, that was always a tough decision when I was coaching on what to do here. But, you know, I usually didn't let that clock bother me too much. My number one priority was to put the ball in the end zone, and whatever happens with the clock happens with the clock. But it's most important now for Valley to score.
7th play of the drive is a 1st and 10 from the 24 for the Valley Tigers. Pulling under center, gives it to his running back who tries to get to the outside, Trey Lewis. Lewis is caught at the shoe, cuts back into the 2-1, touchdown Valley. Trey Lewis did all of the work, a great cutback at the 10, skirted along that near sideline and into the end zone. Great run by Trey Lewis, and for the first time since the first half, the Tigers have the lead, 27-21.
I think if we could wind that back and look at it, Paul, he broke no less than 5 tackles on that particular play. Went up the sideline, was able to stay in bounds and score with 2:23 left on the clock. Nice run.
The extra point attempt from Nick Gallis. The snap, the hold, the kick is up. The kick is good. It's 28-21. Valley leads. We'll take a break on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Coming up on 10 o'clock in Middle America. Great football game wherever you may be around the world, watching, listening. Glad to have you aboard on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Paul Yeager alongside Dave Marcoulier and Brian Morris. Dowling trails 28-21. The Maroons have the return. It's Brandon Ogden, takes it at his 5, all the way up to the 35-yard line. Great speed, great return. Sets the table for a good drive for the Maroons. Let's go down to the field now and check in with Brian Morris after that drive and find out what happened. Brian?
You know, I think, Dave and Paul, you've said it right. I think some of those two-way players for Dowling, they're getting a little fatigued. You've got John Wisniewski out there. You've got T.J. Palmy out there. And, you know, they're playing almost both ways this whole game. So Valley, I think, is taking advantage of that with their one-way players. And on that touchdown play, there was a couple, I was right on the sideline there, a couple great blocks sprung him. One of the blocks was questionable if it was in front or in the back, but irregardless, touchdown for Valley.
28-21, Valley leads Dowling, 2:15 to play. Shotgun formation, Hartlib gets it. It's the draw, or it's the screen, and it goes to goalie. Play's blown up, nice defensive play, and all of a sudden Valley can do no wrong. That's Brandon Ellingson, great read of that screen.
I tell you, that's where the defensive captains for Valley step up. The Ellingson, outstanding linebacker, outstanding young man. I tell you, Valley's always had good linebackers. They're really coached well. They do a great job reading the play. His job was on that play was to take away the screen, and he did. Nicely done.
No gain on the play. Hartlib goes under center, 2nd and 10. Hartlib's going to throw it. Ogden on the far side, caught, and then quickly tackled by Nolan Loden. Loden makes that tackle. Loden is a 5'11", 175-pound senior. Playing that right side, he was an Ogden the entire way. So now the Maroons call a timeout.
That's her second timeout, I believe, if the clock is right. Dowling Catholic has one timeout remaining. 1:27 on the clock, Paul.
We're settling in for a very good finish here. 28-21, Valley leads with a $1:27 to play. Maroons will have it 3rd and 3 from the 43. Want to let you know that coming up in the postgame, we'll talk with Brian Morris on the field with head coach Tom Wilson. Chased down a couple of Maroons. I'm not going to say too much about this, but the last time the Maroons lost was in that playoff game at the Unidome against Marshalltown. They've won 14 straight, 21 straight regular season games. And right now, it's in jeopardy of that streak continuing. But lots to play for and lots of action to happen. Maroon faithful starting to make some noise here on a very full Drake Stadium. I don't think Drake University will have this many fans this season for a football game, and it's here tonight. Dan Hartlib goes under center, 3rd and 3. Darboe goes in motion to the far side. The gift to goalie is up the middle, and he is going to be short, probably by about the width of the football of the first down marker. They're going to say he got to the 35, and he needed to get to about the 45, and needed to get to the 46.
It's going to bring up about a foot, maybe a yard, 4th down, and obviously Dowling Catholic will go for it on this play. 1:02, and the clock's running. They have one timeout left. If they get the first down here, they'll get those chains set and get another playoff.
55 seconds remain, 4th and 1 from the 45. Hartlib, long snap count, quarterback sneak up the middle. He may not have gotten it. The initial surge does not look like he got it.
It all depends upon the spot.
The linesman who was on the far side of the field ran parallel to the 45, but then the spot makes all the difference. And the Tigers think they stopped it. They're going to measure it. It looks like it's a first down from here, but it's a little early to tell.
Well, they moved the chains on the sideline, so I can't really tell. But going by where they have on the sideline, it's a first down, but who knows what they're doing.
It looks short.
Yeah,
we'll let the crowd tell you what happens here as they stretch out those sticks.
Doggone it. It's short, Paul. It's about 2 inches short.
Valley Tigers will take over on downs and kneel it with 44 seconds to play. Dowling Catholic High School football on 1150 KWKY, streaming on KWKY.com and webcasting at DowlingCatholic.org is brought to you in part by Dayton Heating and Air Conditioning, Mama Lacona's Restaurant, Waters Autoland, and the Dana Company. So for the first time, barring a miracle, the Maroons will lose for the first time since Marshalltown in the 2009 campaign of the state semifinals, and it's been a hard-fought ball game, 28-21, Dave.
And I think Dowling fans have to remember that this is just one of 9 games when it comes right down to it. The conference games are the most important. And many more games to play. Dowling Catholic look good tonight. They have a fine young team. First game for many of them, and Dowling Catholic will be back.
Valley lines up in the victory formation, takes a quick knee, and with 39 seconds, let the clock continue to roll. We're coming up on 10 o'clock here on 1150 KWKY Des Moines. Glad to have you aboard. Paul Yeager alongside Dave Marcoulier and Brian Morris. Ramel Slaughter is here as well. And I felt not the playoff game, Dave, but the last 2 regular season games, there was a lot of hype around this one. This year it lived up to the billing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was a lot of unknown as far as Dowling Catholic fans because not very many of these kids played last year, and that's the ball game. Valley, of course, is celebrating. Dowling going out to shake hands in center field.
The Maroons drop a heartbreaker tonight, 28-21. Valley gets back into the win column against their rivals from 3 miles away and defeat the Dowling Catholic Maroons tonight, 28-21. We'll take a break. We'll reset you and let you know what's going to happen. We'll do some post-game interviews, recap scores from around the CIML, and hopefully get a look at some statistics. They'll shake hands at midfield. We'll take a break. Dowling loses 28-21 to Valley. Great football game from Drake Stadium tonight. The post-game show begins after this. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports. That's 1150 KWKY. There'll be a team meeting, there'll be a quick prayer, and then you've still got 2 minutes before they do anything that we get the access. Brian, I always try to keep an eye on.
Right there. All the way at the end?
Right there, 25.
Oh, at the 25.
See him kneeling down?
Okay, I see him kneeling. He's down by you.
Yeah, he's getting his head set up because he's going to give